Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good morning. It's 5:02. I'm Manda Factor, and some of the things we're following today. The death toll from the chemical tank implosion, as ABC mentioned, in Longview is up to 2 officially, although CBS this morning is reporting it's up to 3. SeaTac Airport could lose all international flights. Reuters reports Homeland Security Secretary Mark-Wayne Mullen says the Trump administration is weighing pulling customs officers from sanctuary city airports, and Seattle is on that list. The policy advisor leading Mayor Katie Wilson's promise of 4,000 or 1,000 new shelter beds this year has resigned. John Grant stepped down yesterday, the second major exit from Wilson's office in weeks. Oh, and your first-place Mariners are off today before hosting the Diamondbacks tomorrow. They won again yesterday. It's 5:03. Time to get a check on your early Thursday drive. Chris Sullivan's here. Good morning.
It is dry, Amanda. Good morning, and we're enjoying a pretty good day so far. We're looking at green on the map. Olympia to Tacoma, we haven't started to see the brake lights yet through the loss of the DuPont gate at JBLM. So we're looking at 30 minutes to Tacoma. Federal Way to Seattle's only running 35. Valley Freeway, 35 minutes from Puyallup to Renton. Renton to Bellevue is only 15. Coming down from the north end, nothing past the forced merge in Northgate yet. Nothing through Canyon Park as of yet, so 35 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
At 5:03 on the Start Here program this morning, ABC's Brad Milkey and Melissa Adon have more on the implosion at the chemical plant in Longview.
It's been a heck of a week for people who live near industrial chemical facilities.
We're preparing for the tank to fail and spill the liquid all over the place.
In Southern California, tens of thousands of residents were told to evacuate an area because of the risk that an entire facility might explode.
They were saying it was very toxic to your skin and for you to inhale it.
The unknown is really scary, and only time will tell.
People were envisioning mushroom clouds spewing toxins until they were told they'd gotten lucky. Thanks to cooler temperatures and chemical reactions, everyone escaped unharmed. They've been moving back into the area the last few days. But up in Washington state, another crisis was brewing, and people there had no warning.
There are reports of fatalities and multiple people injured, some in critical condition at this hour.
Longview, Washington sits right near the Oregon state line. It's about an hour north of Portland. This town is known for timber, wood mills, paper, and the chemical facilities that make these all run. Well, early Tuesday, there was a burst in a huge chemical tank. Now, this was not technically an explosion, but it was loud, it was violent, and it was deadly. We quickly learned that at least one person had been killed. Well, yesterday, authorities announced this was even worse than we initially knew. When it's all said and done, they said this could be the most deadly industrial accident in the state's history. Let's take you there now. ABC's Melissa Adon is on the scene in Longview, Washington. Melissa, can you just walk us through what happened here?
Absolutely. It has been a really eerie scene for the people here in southwestern Washington, here in Longview. Tuesday morning, about 7 a.m., officials say that the workers here at Nippon Dynawave Packaging Company were actually on their shift change.
Shift change occurs at 7 a.m., so there were people in this area. This was an administrative workspace. This was a break room space. There were operational spaces.
When suddenly they realized there was a rupture at one of their chemical tanks. The rupture was so powerful that it actually took out several people, hospitalized, about 8 of them. There was a massive first responder call that came out. Dozens and dozens of ambulances headed over here. And unfortunately, there was 9 employees that ended up being unaccounted for.
Crews are actively assessing the structural integrity of that tank and working on plans to stabilize that tank before additional recovery operations can safely proceed.
Recovery crews had to actually stop trying to rescue because it was too dangerous. And then as, the 24-hour period elapsed, that's when crews realized that this turned from a rescue mission to a recovery effort.
There are members working the site tirelessly that have lost coworkers, lost friends, and they remain dedicated to focusing on our recovery efforts.
Unfortunately, they presume that none of these 9 employees survived.
How dangerous is this stuff? And what was the chemical reaction that happened here?
Yes, so that's exactly what is under investigation, because basically it's a 900,000-gallon tank.
A tank containing white liquor. That is a chemical utilized in the paper making process.
They're saying that this white liquor that possibly was still inside the damaged tank is what caused this issue. It can be really, really dangerous, basically saying that exposure can cause severe burns, and even inhalation to it can lead to irritation or inflammation in the lungs, which makes it super dangerous for the crews who were trying to recover the employees that were struck when this rupture happened to the tank.
Wait, so if it can be dangerous, I mean, is the area dangerous? If there was this sort of blast, is there a public health risk?
That's a great question. So that was an immediate concern out here with officials, but at this time they have deemed that the area is safe.
The remaining roughly 25,000 gallons is contained in the tank, is leaking slowly out of the tank, slower this morning than it was yesterday evening, and that has reduced our concern.
And look, for perspective, we as reporters are standing right in front of this plant. I mean, This is a much different situation than Orange County, where reporters were pushed back to the command center miles and miles away, and they had a huge perimeter because they feared for safety.
At this time, there continue to be no identified negative health impacts to the city, to the surrounding air quality, or the city of Longview's drinking water system.
The EPA is on the ground here. They're testing the air quality. They're testing the water quality.
Testing of water samples has confirmed contamination entered the Columbia River during the day yesterday.
Because there could always be that possibility or threat of something leaking out to the public.
We have recovered approximately a dozen carp from the dikes that have died.
So that's the concern there. But as for safety, nobody was evacuated. The area remains safe, and they feel that it's safe for all of us to be out here.
Last question, Melissa. I'm just thinking whether it's people in Southern California or whether it's people in this town, if you live near an industrial plant or a chemical plant, you're constantly told by authorities, you're good to go. There's no problems here. We have regular checks. Everything's fine. And yet, now we got these two disasters in the last week. What has the reaction sort of been like from locals there? I imagine also, if it's a mill, you probably almost like a factory town. People are close-knit. What has it been like?
Absolutely, Brad. It is an incredibly close-knit community, and that's something that people talk to me about.
I would never wish this pain and grief on my worst enemy.
I met a woman who her close friend is one of the unaccounted for, and she says her dear close friends are living this nightmare.
There have been close calls, and it's the best time to keep accountability and the light on a situation is when it happens, and it's getting word out there that we want to know, and we're not going to go quietly, and we're going to push this subject until we know what happened, why it happened, and how they're going to prevent it from happening again.
I also spoke with the governor of Washington State, Bob Ferguson, who was proud of the safeguards that the state has.
Washington State is pretty robust when it comes to worker protections. We have a strong ethic of supporting our workers.
However, at the same time, he realizes that if there is a massive problem here and the investigation points out to a failure, he wants to make sure that if there's legislation he can implement, that he will implement it. What is your message to the community?
Yeah, I think it's a reminder that, you go to work and you assume you'll come back from work. And that's certainly not the case in this instance. And so I think as we learn more about the cause of this, of course, we'll have to do a post-mortem. Right now we're focused on recovery, we're focused on the families, we're focused on making sure this site is safe. But there will be a time to make sure we understand exactly what happened, and there's anything we can learn from that to make sure it doesn't happen again.
He told me that he understands. He has his own family members that also work at other important plants here in the state, and he wants to ensure that people can work in safe places and that these companies are following the rules.
All right, Melissa, Dawn, there on a really tragic day there in Washington State. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brad.
ABC's Brad Milkey. President Trump says this year's midterm elections are not impacting his strategy on the war with Iran.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio says progress has been made in the talks, but so far he and President Trump say there isn't a deal yet that the U.S. is willing to agree to. President Trump also said sanctions relief isn't on the table.
They thought they were going to outweight me. We'll outweight him. He's got the midterms. I don't care about the midterms.
During a cabinet meeting Wednesday, President Trump said he's not letting this year's elections rush him into making a deal with Iran.
Iran is very much intent. They want very much to make a deal. So far, they haven't gotten there. We're not satisfied with it, but we will be. We will be either that or we'll have to just finish the job.
There's an agreement to be made. We want that to be made. I think there's been some progress and some interest, and we'll see over the next few hours and days whether progress could be made.
President Trump says sanctions relief for Iran isn't being discussed in the negotiations.
We're not talking about any easing of sanctions or giving money. No sanctions, no money, no nothing.
But one key sticking point in the talks is the future of the Strait of Hormuz, a major shipping channel for oil that remains largely closed. President Trump made a warning to Oman, a U.S. ally, saying he wouldn't allow Oman and Iran to manage the strait together.
Nobody's going to control it. It's international waters, and Oman will behave just like everybody else, so we'll have to blow them up. They understand that.
According to a U.S. official, U.S. Central Command forces shot down 4 Iranian one-way attack drones around the Strait of Hormuz. The source says the U.S. military also targeted an Iranian ground control station near the strait that was attempting to launch a 5th drone. Kristen Escow, News Nation, Washington.
There is a new twist in the race for Los Angeles mayor.
With less than a week to go until the California primary, former reality star Spencer Pratt says the incumbent, Karen Bass, is breaking the law. He says a campaign video she posted to social media Sunday proves she violated campaign rules by electioneering within 100 feet of a ballot box. She denies breaking any rules, saying Spencer's just mad that his supporters are AI cartoons and we have real Angelinos.
That's News Nation's Nicole Burley. In a post on X, Pratt blasted Bass's leadership as a mafia-like regime. Well, the Hoover Dam, located on the boundary between Nevada and Arizona, is a major tourist attraction in and of itself. The dam is now lighted. It's lit up red, white, and blue to mark America's 250th birthday this July 4th.
The dam now has a 300-foot flag weighing 2,000 pounds, surrounded by over 500 lights. It's part of the America 250 initiative with dozens of events across the country, hoping to encourage Americans to explore iconic destinations in our country.
The dam was built between 1931 and 36 during the Great Depression. It's 5:14. Coming up, we'll get back to this morning's Start Here program. First, a check on our forecast. It's going to be beautiful. We're pushing the upper 70s for today. Might hit 80 in some spots. Right now, we have clear skies in Seattle. It's 53 degrees. On the way, we'll get back to ABC's Brad Milkey for the Start Here program. This is Seattle's Morning News.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News is brought to you by Closets by Design Seattle.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
We know finding a company to trust with your home is a big decision, and one we look forward to earning with incredible service, top quality products, and lifetime warranties. Adrian here, owner of Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Our windows are feature-rich with our sound package that reduces noise by 50%, clean glass technology, and added protection with our exclusive First Guard 3-layer security glass. Learn more about all of these features at LakeWashingtonWindows.com. Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
What would you do if the person you love needed round-the-clock care and you had no plan to pay for it?
I was very worried about running out of money.
When Mike's wife was diagnosed with dementia, he turned to LifePoint Law and Elder Law attorney Rajiv Nagayich.
And then he said, you're going to be okay, but we have to get through these steps. Then I felt a whole lot better going into it. It was still a very difficult process, but in the end, I knew that there was someone there that if I needed help, understood what I'm going through.
LifePoint Law helped Mike protect his wife, his finances, and his future.
They laid it out really well up front. They give you a very in-depth plan. There are so many things that you don't know. I could never have done it on my own.
Register for a free LifePoint Law retirement planning seminar in Tacoma on June 4th, Mukilteo on June 6th, Lacey on June 9th, or Bellevue on June 13th. 6:30 p.m. Space is limited. Sign up at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home in Washington, recent headlines might concern you. Talk of pocket listings or private networks where only certain consumers see certain properties are all over the media. Good news. The legislature recently passed a bill to protect you in your transaction. No secret deals, all listings available for everyone to see, not just an exclusive club of insiders. This means more competition, better offers, and fair access for all consumers. Learn more at warealtor.org, sponsored by Washington Realtors.
News matters. Experience counts. You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
It's 5:18 and back to this morning's Start Here program. ABC's Brad Milkey and Aaron Katersky break down the arrest of a Google employee over bets on the prediction markets.
This year, we've seen an explosion in new betting options. I'm not just talking about sports betting options like over-unders and parlay bets. No, I'm talking about entirely new formats where you can bet on anything in what are called prediction markets. We've talked about this on the show and how ripe these sites can be for insider trading. Because it used to be if you knew what song Beyonce would start her Coachella set with, you could get, bragging rights, maybe some retweets from your information. Now you can make cold hard cash on these markets. Well, recently, Congress has launched a probe into some of the biggest new prediction markets, and yesterday, a Google employee was arrested, wait for it, betting on what Google was about to do. ABC's chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky is here. Aaron, what happened here?
You know how every year, Brad, Google releases its list of top searched people in any given year? Mm-hmm. Well, according to federal prosecutors, one of Google's software engineers, a guy by the name of Michele Spagnolo, an Italian citizen, had access to the information. He knew who Google's top searched person of 2025 was going to be when prosecutors say he placed a series of bets on Polymarket that netted him $1.2 million by correctly wagering that the singer known as David would be the top searched person on Google in 2025.
What does Google have to say about that? Because every company's got some form of confidential information we don't want to release, but then there's insider trading. How are they reacting?
Well, Google says he may have had access to the confidential, non-public information as part of his job, but actually using it to place bets on a prediction market is against company policy, and they've put the employee on leave. He is also charged with commodities fraud and wire fraud and money laundering because prosecutors say this is just the kind of bet or trade that is akin to insider trading on a securities market.
Well, I thought you were about to say, Aaron, this is just the kind of bet that you could imagine happening. Because wasn't it, I think it was the head of Polymarket a while ago said, hey, insider trading is a net good for the world. We get more information the more that insiders are putting their stuff out there. Kalshi has almost taken the opposite tack. They've said we're going to be really tough on insider trading, but I think there's a lot of skepticism from people who understand there's a lot of money to be made out there from people constantly trading on what knowledge they might have or what they're kind of guessing will happen out there.
In fact, it's a real potential black eye for sites like Polymarket and Kalshi if their users don't have confidence that they're not going to be on the losing end of somebody's insider bet.
What are we entering now? This is our surveillance system. So here are all of our surveillance analysts.
And so Kalshi invited us into its room where they're trying to suss out insider trades. And we were the first reporters invited in by Kalshi to see this group of mainly young guys in vests who look like they haven't slept, and cans of Red Bull were everywhere.
We have 24/7 shifts that they're rotating, monitoring the markets because the markets are open 24 hours a day.
And they are actually looking for abnormally large trades or trades that just don't smell right. You mentioned your own enforcement. What does that look like?
So an enforcement case, it begins as an investigation and usually as an alert. So once an alert comes up, our surveillance team reviews it. It might be a false positive, then they'll dismiss it. If it's not, they typically will involve me or another member of our legal team at that stage, and we start collecting information.
And then they go and route around on employee sites and other places on the web to see if they're the result of inside information.
This comes after, by the way, the House Oversight Committee is now launching an investigation into insider trading potential. What are they looking for exactly?
They're looking to see if these sites are on the up and up, because the preference of the sites themselves, Brad, would be they want to do their own policing.
Right.
And they have in some cases. Kalshi says it referred about 200 potential insider trading cases to the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and is done all that already this year and on pace to do more for the remainder of the year. The Commodity Futures Trading Commission is led by Mike Selig, who also agreed to speak with us.
There's always a risk that there could be somebody trading on insider information, but it's our job as regulators to take legal action there. It's the job of the Department of Justice to take criminal action in many cases as well.
Normally, the commission, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, is made up of 5 members. Right now, Selig is the only member, so he has unusually high influence over how prediction markets are regulated.
If we have a system where there's 50 different regimes around what you can offer, people just aren't going to offer it here. They'll go offshore, and that's bad for all Americans.
And he is fighting to keep that control with his agency, despite the efforts of a number of states to try and regulate how prediction markets operate.
These markets are inherently corrupt. And let's start having the conversation now so that eventually, under the right circumstances, we might be able to protect people.
Brad, there are now at least a dozen bills floating through Congress that would crack down on the way prediction markets are allowed to operate. So there is pressure on markets like Kalshi and Polymarket to prove that they actually can control insider trading on their platforms, or else there might be bipartisan agreement to have Congress do it for them.
Right. And again, there's so much money in here. Everyone's eyes are on it. And we know that Donald Trump Jr. has taken advisory positions at both Kalshi and Polymarket because it's very much a ground floor moment. Aaron Katursky was already reporting on this before this Google employee was arrested for allegedly doing what critics had predicted might happen in a scenario like this. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Brad.
ABC's Brad Milkey. 5:25, quick check on the forecast. It's going to be another beautiful day. We are looking for highs pushing 80 for today, and then big change comes tomorrow. We'll see some showers roll back in, much cooler, high around 61. It is clear at 53 in Seattle right now. And coming up, KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has this week's Cold Case Project. A murder suspect on the run for 6 years is finally behind bars. That's on the way here on Seattle's Morning News.
The Harnish Auto Family Super Sale is happening right now. The cost of living has gone up, but when buying a car, it doesn't have to feel like it. Zero down delivers, no payments all summer, and exclusive 10-day deals in partnership with TAPCO Credit Union. With a wide selection of new vehicles and over 400 used vehicles across 5 dealerships, you'll find just what you're looking for. Visit Subaru, Volkswagen, and Chevy Buick GMC of Puyallup or Kia and Chevy of Everett. Harnish Auto Family. People matter.
Offers available OAC on select models. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
At Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we know the key to a long-lasting roof is yearly maintenance. Need an inspection, repair, restoration, moss removal, or just a cleanup? You can trust Guardian's licensed, insured, and expertly trained team. We offer free estimates, second opinions, and financing, giving you the peace of mind your home deserves. Call today. Our first-time customers can save $99 on our award-winning roof repair and cleaning service. Visit us at guardianroofing.com.
This baseball season, Home Comfort Alliance is changing the game. John Curley here.
Get the price of a new heating and AC system in just 60 seconds on your phone with no pressure, no waiting. Just a few questions and you get a winning personalized price. That's a home run. And if your system is over 12 years old, it could be costing you up to 20% more or could soon fail. Score a personalized price for a new system in 60 seconds at HomeComfortAlliance.com. Call the comfort people. Home Comfort Alliance.
Golden Crest Metals helps investors understand how physical gold and silver can be held inside qualified retirement accounts without pressure or confusion. Our team brings decades of experience in precious metals and retirement planning with a focus on clear education, straightforward pricing, and a process designed to put clients first. Why do investors choose Golden Crest Metals? Experience, transparency, and a client-first approach. Tune into The Gold Show with Kenny Michaels every Saturday at 1 p.m.
With summer right around the corner, Valentine Roofing's schedule is filling up fast. Jake Skorheim here. I want to give you 3 reasons why you should pick up the phone and call Valentine today. Number 1, there's still time to beat the summer rush and get your roof started in as little as 3 weeks. Number 2, when the nice weather hits, you'll be enjoying your backyard instead of worrying about your roof. And 3, with the increased cost of crude oil, material prices going up, shipping prices going up, lock in your price now before the market absorbs all those price increases. Call 206 Roofing today, and I guarantee there'll be no surprises, just a clear estimate you can trust. And once you choose Valentine Roofing, here's what you can expect. Seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and extra mile service. That's the Valentine experience and the reason that they were awarded the 2025 Gold for Best Roofing Company by the Seattle Times Best in the Pacific Northwest Awards. Call 206 Roofing today. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
The future of home comfort is here. The new Carrier Infinity system delivers premium home heating and cooling with innovative filtration for healthy air and over-the-air software updates that help optimize performance. Carrier, for the world we share.
Save up to $2,100 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates when you purchase a premium heating or cooling system, while also taking advantage of a special financing offer of 0% APR for 60 months. For details, visit CarrierNorthwest.com. That's CarrierNorthwest.com.
At Madrona Financial and CPAs, we believe there are 7 steps that must be taken in preparation for a successful retirement. Retirement needs more than just a basic income plan. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Don't settle for a partial plan. Get the real deal by requesting your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
30 years ago, Davis Law Group was founded to be the best law firm for our clients and our community. Our core values are to win, help, and serve. It means our success is defined by the difference we make in our clients' lives and the impact we can have in our community. Not by giant settlement checks or shiny offices. Our mission to lift up the vulnerable extends beyond the courtroom to our charity partners, promoting safety, uplifting students, accident victims, foster youth, and the elderly. If you've been injured and want better results for your claim and for all of Washington, call Davis Law Group today.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown. Never let kids' toys take over the house. And never fill your feed with kid photos. You'd never plan your life around their schedule. Never lick your thumb to clean their face. And you'd never let them leave the house looking like less than their best. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it. Never let them stay up too late. And never let them run wild through the grocery store.
We have on aisle 6 and aisle 3.
So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, no, it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Epic parties start at Staples. Now you can grab Party City balloons, decorations, and tableware, plus matching custom invites, banners, and more right at Staples. That was easy.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. It's 5:31. 2 people confirmed dead, 9 people are missing, 8 more hurt after Tuesday's implosion at the Nippon Dynawave packaging plant in Longview. We've learned the identity of the first person confirmed dead, Gilbert Bernal. KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas has more.
A family friend telling KIRO 7 he is a husband and father to 2 children. He's worked at the paper factory for about 15 years now. Jared Amons, KIRO 7 learned he is one of the 9 still missing. Amons is also a husband and father of 2 children with another child on the way. Both of their GoFundMe accounts have raised more than $15,000.
Our Corwin Hake is on the scene in Longview once again this morning. We'll hear from him coming up at 6 o'clock. The Sound Transit Board is expected to vote this afternoon to commit to building what it promised voters in 2016. The vote could also determine which projects are considered doable under current financing plans and which are not. Sound Transit facing a $34 billion budget hole. The light rail link to Ballard is one of the projects that isn't feasible under current financing. Sound Transit says it's not doable by 2052. The budget for that 8-mile link has ballooned to $23 billion. Expanding light rail to Tacoma and to Painfield and Everett are considered doable right now. Another shakeup inside Mayor Katie Wilson's office. The policy advisor leading her promise to add 4,000 new shelter beds has resigned. The Seattle Times reports John Grant stepped down yesterday, just weeks after Wilson replaced her chief of staff. Grant was the point person on one of the mayor's biggest campaign promises, 1,000 new shelter beds this year alone. And you can now call them the first place Seattle Mariners. After sweeping the Athletics, the Hems hold a half-game lead in the AL West. The offense took off, including this bomb from Julio.
3-run home run. It's all Mariners now. 9-0 over the A's.
Final score, 9-1. Hems get a day off today. They'll host the Arizona Diamondbacks for 3 games starting tomorrow. It's 5:33. Time for a check on traffic once again. What's happening this early Thursday, Sully?
So far, nothing, Amanda, which is great.
Good.
So we're trying to keep that going. We do have a little bit of slowing now getting through Nisqually as we work our way up through DuPont. Again, the DuPont gate to JBLM remains closed, so we're going to see some slowing there again today, but right now it's not too bad. 35 minutes to get you to Tacoma. Just some slight hesitation right around the Kent-Des Moines Road. We've got 35 minutes to Seattle. Puyallup to Renton, 35 minutes as well. Renton to Bellevue is about 15. The Lake Bridge is still good coming down from the north end. No problems as of yet. 35 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
And our forecast, beautiful day, mostly sunny and warmer today. 79 the expected high in Seattle. Could be into the low 80s away from the water. For tomorrow, we're going to cool off, way off to 60 with some showers rolling in. Saturday, drying out the morning clouds. Afternoon sunshine, same deal on Sunday. Highs in the mid and upper 60s for the weekend. Right now in Seattle, skies are clear. The sun's coming up. It's 57 degrees.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Bringing you Seattle's morning news since 1974. This is KIRO News Radio.
It's 5:35. The murder suspect on the lam for 6 years is behind bars this morning. His name is O'Shea Williams, 26 years old, accused of fatally shooting 21-year-old Jim Rout in 2020. He was arrested last week and is the focus of this week's Cold Case Project, Captured. Here's KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
The shooting happened March 10th, 2020, near the corner of Rainier Avenue South and Southwest Victoria Street.
This was actually broad daylight. Victim sitting in his car, suspect passenger in a vehicle, drove past the car a few times. A suspect gets out of the car, walks up, fires a bunch of rounds in the car, and kills the victim dead with surveillance video and witnesses in the parking lot.
That's Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound Executive Director Jim Fuda. He says in spite of all the evidence, O'Shea Williams disappeared for more than 6 years. Investigators don't know if he was in Seattle the whole time or whether he left town and at some point returned. Megan Black with the Renton Police Department says none of that mattered to detectives who refused to let the case go.
One of our detectives who was instrumental in the initial investigation kind of started looking into this again recently, and he developed some information that O'Shea Williams was in the area in Renton. They devised a plan to go to the area where they knew that he was staying, and he happened to pop out of an apartment, and they approached him. Williams attempted to flee officers, but they were able to quickly capture him and get him under arrest.
It is a partnership between law enforcement and community members working together to keep the community safe.
We're just really happy to finally get this person into custody and be able to deliver that news to the family who's been waiting, for 6 years to bring someone to justice. And now we get to begin that process.
In a lot of these cases, Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound offers a reward of up to $1,000 for information that leads to an arrest and charges. The thing is, most tipsters never claim the money.
Citizens are realizing that it takes a village to solve these crimes and get these bad people off the street. And it's heartwarming and reassuring to know that there are detectives out there that are willing to take that information and go after these bad guys.
And Fuda says getting the bad guys off the street makes the entire community safer. For the Cold Case Project, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
King County prosecutors have charged 18-year-old Jamari McQueen of Tacoma with 3 counts of first-degree assault for opening fire outside a Capitol Hill nightclub at closing time May 18th. Here's Casey McNerthy with the prosecutor's office.
The defendant produced a gun, got into a two-handed shooting stance, and fired it numerous times.
McNerthy says it started with an altercation between McQueen and another man outside the Cultura nightclub on East Pike. According to court documents, McQueen shot the man and hit 2 others. He's being held on $1.5 million bail due back in court June 1st. A routine DUI stop in Kitsap County turned into a high-speed getaway early Saturday with a driver topping 100 miles an hour. The Kitsap deputy called off the chase to protect other people, but the suspect had already handed over his ID, of course, which includes his home address. Spokesman Kevin McCarty says deputies later found his vehicle there and arrested the driver.
Attempt to elude police vehicle, reckless driving, and driving while intoxicated.
The suspect is a 32-year-old man from Shelton. You can see the body cam video at mynorthwest.com. Alaska Airlines is facing a possible 6-figure fine for letting drunk passengers board flights. The FAA is proposing a $165,000 civil penalty against Alaska for alleged incidents on 11 flights from February 24 to February of 2025. FAA regulations prohibit airlines from allowing people on board an aircraft if they appear intoxicated. Alaska Airlines released a statement which reads, in part, since the FAA shared these concerns with us over a year ago, we made meaningful changes to ensure compliance with expectations, including enhanced training for all flight attendants and customer service agents. It's now 5:39, and coming up, your political insights from ABC's Dave Packer. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
Elena had another asthma attack. She's really sad to miss school again.
Asthma can be triggered by allergens from common pests.
I just can't shake this fever.
Mosquito bites can cause West Nile and Zika virus infections.
Sorry, boss. I'm going to be out of work for a while.
The CDC estimates that more than 300,000 Lyme disease cases spread by ticks occur in the U.S. each year. Don't let pests force you to take a sick day. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association and the CDC.
A rising blast, left field, grand slam, Rosarena!
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. But for a truly elevated experience, you've got to be in a Mariner Suite. A suite is the perfect spot to get your game and celebration on. Birthday, promotion, engagement, company team building that actually team builds. No matter your event, we've got a suite you'll love. Group suites can fit 30 to 400 people for big-time bashes. And private suites offer just that, an upscale experience for more intimate gatherings. All Mariner Suites offer an incredible view of the ballpark, so you can't go wrong. Plus, you and your guests will enjoy premium catering, VIP parking, private Skybridge entry, and more. And season ticket members get 15% off. Reserve your suite today at mariners.com/suites.
Bases clearing, 3-run double by Josh Naylor. Holy smokes, the Mariners have the lead.
Mariners baseball, Trident's up.
KIRO News Radio.
Get on the YouTube channel.
We're live all day on YouTube. Every show, every day.
Hang out with us. The whole gang's there.
And you never know what you might see.
Back up the camera. Oh, my God.
Just search KIRO News Radio, then subscribe.
I had pain. I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes. had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
The future of home comfort is here. The new Carrier Infinity system delivers premium home heating and cooling with innovative filtration for healthy air and over-the-air software updates that help optimize performance. Carrier, for the world we share.
Save up to $2,100 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates when you purchase a premium heating or cooling system, while also taking advantage of a special financing offer of 0% APR for 60 months. For details, visit CarrierNorthwest.com. That's CarrierNorthwest.com.
At Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we understand improving your home is an investment in your family, and we're here to help make it easier. With our flexible financing, keeping your family safe, comfortable, and dry has never been more affordable. For more than 20 years, Guardian has earned the trust of thousands of homeowners across the Pacific Northwest with a reputation for quality that lasts. So why wait? Start guarding your home today. Call or visit GuardianRoofing.com.
These are your political insights from ABC News. In the Texas Republican Senate runoff, Majority Leader John Thune backed incumbent Senator John Cornyn. That is until Cornyn lost to Attorney General Ken Paxton. Now Thune is all in on Paxton and urging other Republicans to come around too, telling the Hugh Hewitt Show.
Ken Paxton is our nominee heading into November, and we've got to pivot and go all in to make sure that we keep Texas red, that he wins, and that we keep a far-left liberal out of the United States Senate.
Thune referring to Texas State Representative James Tallarico, who Paxton will face in the November election. An ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll conducted using Ipsos Knowledge Panel, finding that when asked what the worst thing is about Republicans, the most common response among Americans is President Donald Trump or loyalty to him. The most common response about Democrats, they're weak and don't stand up against Trump or for what's right. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Our forecast, it's going to be another beautiful day, mostly sunny and warm, pushing 80 for today. Big change tomorrow will only be around 60 as we're going to see mostly cloudy skies with some showers rolling through. Saturday and Sunday, though, look great. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine, highs in the mid and upper 60s. Right now in Seattle, we have clear skies. It's starting to get bright. It's 57 degrees. Coming up, former State Attorney General Rob McKenna breaks down the incoming Supreme Court decision on birthright citizenship. That's next on Seattle's Morning News.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
Summer's supposed to be fun. When the kids are home all day, the groceries, they add up fast. G. Scott here with a quick heads up from Safeway. There's a program called Sunbucks that gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically and will get a card in the mail. Others need to apply. Take a minute to check. It could really help put food on the table for your family. Head to freesummermeals.org to find out more. That's freesummermeals.org.
Spring is here and it's time to call Integrity Roofing and Construction, your trusted local roofing team. They'll keep your home leak-free and protected all season long. Spike O'Neill here. Visit IntegrityRC.com to schedule a free roof assessment and video inspection today. Serving our community with over 10 years experience in roofing and restoration, their skilled team can help with everything from simple roof repair to full renovation. Schedule your free estimate today. Visit IntegrityRC.com. That's IntegrityRC.com or call 206-202-ROOF.
Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime. Seattle's morning news, wherever you are.
Busy time for justices in the U.S. Supreme Court. They're preparing to issue some huge decisions in the coming days.
And this comes as President Trump and the vice president are applying pressure to the conservative majority justices.
So let's take a look at some of the decisions to come. Former state AG Rob McKenna joins us. What are we looking at? What are some of the headlines here, Rob?
Well, the headlines are that we've got a big decision coming down from the court in late June or early July concerning birthright citizenship. You'll recall this is a case that President Trump has really taken a strong position on, demanding that the court agree with his administration that the 14th Amendment does not guarantee that if you're born in this country, you become a citizen. So this is the case where he personally attended the oral arguments at the court, something that no one could ever remember a president doing before. It's a case he's spoken out about publicly. He's demanded that the justices he appointed to be personally loyal to him and vote with him the way he wants. But, that's probably not going to happen. Remember that they voted against him, a majority did, on the issue of the tariffs. And he was furious about that. But that didn't stop them from ruling, based on the law, not on politics.
Rob, you have said demanded twice. How normal is it for a president to make demands of the justices?
It's not normal. We just, we don't see that. We see presidents speaking about the court and some, I suppose, sometimes speaking publicly that they hope for a certain outcome. But he has used a combination of bullying. For example, he said that two of the justices, embarrassed their families when they voted against him on tariffs. So he's been very loud and very aggressive with them in public. They have not responded directly to him when he's done that. But at the same time, he invited the justices to the state dinner with King Charles III a few weeks back. Was that an attempt to mollify them or to cajole them? It's not really clear, but 6 of them did attend, the 6 conservatives, and it's still not known whether the 3 liberals were even invited to it or not. But it was odd because that dinner was held the night before another argument that involved one of his initiatives. So he seems to be doing what Trump does, which is to use a combination of flattery and bullying to try to get what he wants.
So maybe a preview of where the justices might be leaning. How would you describe the nature of their questions about birthright citizenship?
Well, they're clearly, most of them are clearly very skeptical about the idea that the 14th Amendment doesn't mean what it says, when it talks about, being born in the country. So I think that a large majority of the court are going to rule against the administration and uphold the concept that if you're born in this country, you're a citizen of this country. Of course, if Americans wanted to change that, they could amend the Constitution. It's a high hill to climb, but that's the way you amend the Constitution, not through Supreme Court rulings. Now, could he get a couple of justices to vote his way? It is possible. He did get, 3 justices to vote his way on tariffs, led by Brett Kavanaugh, because some of these justices tend to be very deferential to executive power and are willing to go along with what the executive wants. But some of the other strong conservatives will not do that. Justice Gorsuch, who was appointed by Trump in his first term as president, has said, hey, my job here is to, defend the Constitution, not to defend the president.
What else is on the docket that you're going to be watching?
Honestly, birthright citizenship is the sun, is the moon that blots out the sun. It's really the most important case that I think remains. There are some others as well, but I only focus on birthright citizenship to get ready this morning because it has such profound implications. But we'll see more stories coming about some of the other cases down the road, and we can definitely talk about those as we get closer to June, when the most controversial cases typically are handed down.
Rob, why is it that we never know exactly what day the Supreme Court is going to hand down a decision? We click on SCOTUS blog, we hit refresh about 1 million times, waiting to see what's happening. Well,
the court moves to its own beat. They decide when they're going to release things. It's like a three-legged race at a picnic, except there are 9 of them, right? The Chief Justice has more leeway and will control when opinions are released. And of course, when there are complicated decisions, you'll have multiple opinions. Even justices who agree in the result will frequently write their own opinion. It's called a concurrence. And so when you have that many opinions that you're juggling, and the fact that they'll sometimes talk to each other and negotiate over language and an opinion to get each other to join their opinions, there are a lot of moving pieces. And so that makes the date for an opinion to be released, unpredictable sometimes. And this is one way the court signals its independence. It decides when it's going to issue its opinions. It isn't dictated by anyone else, whether the White House or Congress. It will decide when it issues its opinions. And again, the tradition has been that the highest stakes, high profile, most controversial decisions tend to be released toward the end of the session. I think in large part because they're complicated, but it's hard to say whether the court feels like it just makes sense to release those at the end because of their importance. This is a bit of a black box that we're talking about in terms of how they decide the timing of the release of decisions.
And would you say that at the end of this session, if there are to be retirements from the Supreme Court, that's when it gets announced?
It's really not that predictable. But yes, you would assume that they would wait. If any individual justice intends to resign, they would wait until after the court concludes its current term, when the last opinions are released. Now, if there is any justice who's thinking, well, maybe I should retire now and give the president a chance to appoint my replacement while Republicans still hold the Senate, they better get moving, because there is now at least some chance that the Senate's going to flip in this fall's elections, and at that point, the president will get no further appointments during his current and last term. So there has been speculation for a while that Justice Alito might retire, maybe Justice Thomas, that he'll get 2 more appointees. But think about it. Let's say they resign in early July after the last opinion comes out. The election's in November. And of course, the current Senate will be seated until the January, since the new senators aren't sworn in until then. But that's a very compressed time frame to get a Supreme Court nominee or nominees through the process.
Okay, well, I better clear my schedule for July, is what I hear you saying, because Rob, I'm going to be the next nominee for the Supreme Court. It's a odd choice, but I promise when you are arguing in front of me, I'll have an open mind. Okay.
It's an unconventional choice, Charlie, but I look forward to it. And meanwhile, don't forget to go scrub your social media posts.
No kidding. Rob, thanks for joining us every week. We appreciate it. Former State Attorney General Rob McKenna. It's 5:54. We're going to see lots of sunshine for today and warming up to 79 in Seattle, a tad warmer away from the water. It's just a one-day little thing, though, because tomorrow's going to look a lot different. We're going to see mostly cloudy skies, showers at times much cooler, only 60 for tomorrow. The weekend, though, is starting to look good. We'll see clouds in the morning hours both Saturday and Sunday, but afternoon sunshine and highs in the mid and upper 60s. Right now in Seattle, it's clear and 57 as the sun comes up. Coming up, team coverage of the chemical tank implosion in Longview. Our Corwin Hake is live this morning at the scene. And at 6:15, Chris Sullivan has another chicken choke point. The new Raisin Canes in Mill Creek. It's going to cause a lot of traffic congestion. You're listening to Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO. News Radio 97.3 KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
I just can't dig it.
Dig what?
My water line.
Needs replacing?
And I don't want digging in my yard.
And maybe your driveway.
Can't dig it.
Don't dig it.
But how do you?
Apollo Plumbing replaces water lines without digging up your yard.
You're Dan.
From the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Apollo Plumbing.
Our trenchless technology replaces water and sewer lines.
Without digging up my yard?
2 little holes is all it takes.
Sounds better.
Faster, too.
And my yard?
Like we were never there.
Sounds spendy.
Not so much.
Oh?
In the end, about the same as that messy digging you don't want.
How do you figure?
Think about that landscaping you love.
Yeah?
Trenchless means you won't be paying to replace it.
Or my driveway.
We run everything underground.
Trenchless?
Do them all the time.
How about...
Easy payments?
Yeah.
With approved credit. Sure thing.
When can you get started?
We are the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Love that.
Apollo Plumbing, trenchless waterline replacement.
Sewer lines, too.
Can you dig that?
That I can.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
With summer right around the corner, Valentine Roofing's schedule is filling up fast. Jake Skorheim here. I want to give you 3 reasons why you should pick up the phone and call Valentine today. Number 1, there's still time to beat the summer rush and get your roof started in as little as 3 weeks. Number 2, when the nice weather hits, you'll be enjoying your backyard instead of worrying about your roof. And 3, with the increased cost of crude oil, material prices going up, shipping prices going up, lock in your price now before the market absorbs all those price increases. Call 206 Roofing today, and I guarantee there'll be no surprises, just a clear estimate you can trust. And once you choose Valentine Roofing, here's what you can expect. Seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and extra mile service. That's the Valentine experience and the reason that they were awarded the 2025 Gold for Best Roofing Company by the Seattle Times Best in the Pacific Northwest Awards. Call 206 Roofing today. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo.
Your best source for local news.
Newly released police video shows the arrest of a 17-year-old.
KIRO News Radio.
Golden Crest Metals helps investors understand how physical gold and silver can be held inside qualified retirement accounts without pressure or confusion. Our team brings decades of experience in precious metals and retirement planning with a focus on clear education, straightforward pricing, and a process designed to put clients first. Why do investors choose Golden Crest Metals? Experience, transparency, and a client-first approach. Tune into The Gold Show with Kenny Michaels every Saturday at 1 p.m.
When Dennis suggested retirement planning to his wife Linda, she had the same reaction lots of people do.
Do we really need it?
Then they attended a free seminar with elder law attorney Rajiv Nagayich at LifePoint Law.
He asked me, what do you want? And he truly listened. And at the end of it, it was like, we need to do this.
There are many people on the radio that speak about many things. And when we got here and actually worked with the team that Rajiv has put together, it turns out that it is not just talk, it is action.
And in the worst case?
I said to him, if something happens to Dennis, what would I do exactly? And he said, you pick up the phone and you call Rajiv or you call me. And that right there was like peace of mind.
Register for a free LifePoint Law retirement planning seminar in Tacoma on June 4th, Mukilteo June 6th, Lacey June 9th, or Bellevue June 13th, 6:30 p.m. Space is limited. Sign up at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1
ABC
Tacoma,
News, I'm
Seattle.
Sherry Preston. The U.S.
Northwest
military
News.
says an overnight attack by Iran targeting Kuwait is an egregious violation of the ceasefire in the Middle East. A federal judge has declined to block an executive order by President Trump that would limit mail-in voting. The judge says the suit was filed too early since the administration hasn't moved to implement that order yet. A Google engineer now accused of using insider information to make bets on a prediction market that won him over $1 million. ABC's Aaron Katursky.
Google says he may have had access to the confidential, non-public information as part of his job, but actually using it to place bets on a prediction market is against company policy, and they've put the employee on leave. He is also charged with commodities fraud and wire fraud and money laundering.
At least 16 girls have been killed in Kenya after a fire roared through a dorm at a boarding school. Dozens more students, at least 80, are hurt. This is ABC News.
Former First Lady Jill Biden is speaking out about the debate performance that eventually forced her husband to end his re-election campaign. ABC's Andrea Fujii with more on her interview with CBS News Sunday Morning.
Jill Biden opening up about her husband's infamous 2024 debate performance.
I was frightened because I had never, ever seen Joe like that before or since.
She says she feared her then 81-year-old husband was experiencing a medical condition.
I don't know what happened. I mean, as I watched it, I thought, oh my God, he's having a stroke. And it scared me to death.
During the debate, Biden often paused, stuttered, and spoke incoherently.
The former president is suing the Justice Department this week to block the release of transcript interviews and thousands of hours of recordings with his ghostwriter for that memoir. The Justice Department obtained them during the investigation into the classified materials case. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 6:02, here's what's happening. The death toll from that chemical tank implosion at the Nippon Dynawave paper mill in Longview officially up to 2. We have team coverage this morning with Corwin Hake at the scene, Luke Ducey in the studio.
A $21 million racial discrimination verdict against Seattle Children's Hospital stands. The Washington Court of Appeals unanimously upheld the jury's award to Dr. Benjamin Danielson, a longtime medical director at the Odessa Brown Clinic.
SeaTac's international flights could be in jeopardy. Reuters reports the Trump administration is considering pulling customs officers from sanctuary city airports. Seattle is one of them.
And the Mariners, first place in the AL West.
Time to check traffic on the threes as we get started on this Thursday morning. Here's Chris Sullivan.
So far, so good, Charlie. As we begin this day, just some building volumes here and there. One of the spots, northbound I-5 through the Lacey area up through DuPont. Again, this is day 3 without the DuPont gate open to JBLM. We're already up to 40 minutes from Olympia to Tacoma, but now would be a good time to go before that backup gets even worse. Once you get through that, Tacoma's quiet and Federal Way to Seattle's under 40 minutes. We're under 40 from Puyallup to Renton. Some brake lights in Auburn and a little bit at the north end. Then Renton to Bellevue, the S-curves are starting to activate just a little bit. Give yourself about 17 minutes up to Bellevue. Coming down from the north end, kind of a standard start. 40 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. The heaviest spot right there in Northgate, where we have the forced merge. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. Governor Bob Ferguson has deployed the Washington National Guard to assist in the recovery of 9 workers still missing after the Longview chemical tank disaster.
Once again, we have team coverage this morning. We start with KIRO News Radio's Corwin Hake, who joins us live from Longview.
And as we enter day 3 of this emergency response, Ferguson is deploying National Guard members with specialized skills.
We have 8 members of Fatality Search and Rescue to assist with recovery.
He also says 20 members of the National Guard Homeland Response Force are assisting with decontamination on site. Recovering the 9 workers missing and presumed dead remains a challenge. Cowlitz 2 Fire and Rescue Chief Scott Goldstein admits their location is uncertain, partly due to deep water at the blast site.
We do not know where all 9 are.
We do now know the identities of the 2 workers confirmed dead. Gilbert Bernal died at the scene of the tank rupture, and Dylan Miller passed away in hospital from injuries sustained in the blast. Live in Longview, Corwin Hake, KIRO News Radio.
I'm Luke Ducey in the KIRO News Radio studio. More on that white liquor now, that chemical that leaked. We now know some of that chemical was leaked into the Columbia River. It is so corrosive, it's used to break down wood chips into pulp and paperboard at the mill, but a source close to the investigation tells us it was also melting the protective equipment used by first responders. So that's why they had to back away. As for those 9 workers still missing, here's Battalion Chief Matt Amos.
As individuals are recovered from the site, they'll undergo decontamination before being transported to the Cowlitz County Coroner's Office for identification and family notification.
That source also tells us a spillway system and diking system were activated immediately and mostly contained the spill. But again, officials have confirmed some white liquor did spill into the Columbia. They're investigating how much and if there are any environmental effects right now. Crews are flushing contaminated water through the city's ditch system. They're diluting it with water from the Cowlitz River nearby and fire hydrants as well. When it's diluted enough to a safe level. They say they will then send that water back into the Columbia River as well. According to the Seattle Times, Longview officials say the city's drinking water is still safe to drink. Let's talk a little bit about the crews and what they have to do now. Most of their concentration is on containing the 90,000 gallons of white liquor still being, kind of in that massive tank that imploded. They got to figure out what to do with that. You heard the National Guard has been activated to help with recovery of those missing workers. There had been talk of bringing in Homeland Security and federal agents and officers starting yesterday because they have equipment to deal with weapons of mass destruction, WMDs. The same equipment they'll use to deal with this white liquor as well. A federal investigation is now underway.
What a mess, Luke. Thank you. It's 6:07.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's morning news on KIRO Newsradio.
Well, here we are, Friday Eve.
Yes, how'd that happen? It's Thursday, May 28th.
I'm Charlie Harger. That's Manda Factor. And Sully is here in highlighter yellow.
Lovely.
I love this shirt on you.
Where's Sully? I can't find him.
Yeah, well, you guys get dressed in the dark, don't you?
Yeah.
I set up my clothes the night before.
Oh, wow. Well, look at you planning ahead. That's not me.
I'm like 50-50 on that. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm like, well, let her rip in the morning. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I generally don't match most days either.
Well, we have producer David Burbank in the studio with us. David, the Mariners are rolling.
They're number one,
they
for heaven's sakes.
They are definitely rolling. They are number one. It is funny that everyone in the division is under 500, but we'll take it.
Glass half full here, Burbank.
Yes.
All right, Nick Krasia is picking the music and running the board. Katrina Gishard in the newsroom today.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News, sponsored by American Crawl Space and Pest Control.
Sully, you have a chicken choke point.
Yes, I do. Again, Raising Cane's. Not familiar with them. I've never had them.
Oh.
But apparently a new location, fourth in the state, opening in Linwood. I talked to the county engineer about what they're expecting for traffic congestion. This one could be a problem.
It was crazy when it opened in the U District.
Yeah. Now add to one of the busiest streets in Snohomish County, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, we'll talk about that coming up. It's 6:08 now on Seattle's Morning News. The Sound Transit Board is expected to vote this afternoon to commit to building what it promised voters in 2016.
The vote could also determine which projects are considered doable under current financing plans and which are not. Sound Transit is facing a $34 billion budget hole. The light rail link to Ballard is one of the projects that isn't feasible under current financing. Sound Transit says it's not doable by 2052. The budget for that 8-mile link has ballooned to $23 billion. Expanding light rail to Tacoma and to Painfield and Everett are considered doable right now.
Another big shakeup inside the Seattle mayor's office. Seattle Times reports the policy advisor leading Mayor Kitty Wilson's ambitious shelter expansion resigned yesterday. John Grant was in charge of the mayor's promise to add 4,000 new shelter beds. His departure comes after weeks of what the Times describes as a growing tension between the mayor's office and the city council. Council members have publicly complained about poor communication, a lack of specific plans. This is the second high-profile exit from Mayor Wilson's team in recent weeks. Wilson's chief of staff was replaced earlier in the month.
A clash is brewing between Seattle's police union and the mayor's office over surveillance cameras. The Police Officers Guild says Mayor Wilson's staff threatened union president Kent Liu with policy violations after Spog posted video from a Capitol Hill shooting, calling on the mayor to keep the cameras active. Liu tells KIRO Radio's Jake and Spike the threat was baseless.
We're just pointing out that these cameras work. We should have more of them, right? These cameras are an unbiased witness to the crimes occurring in Seattle.
The mayor's office later retracted its demand after Spog's attorneys sent a cease and desist letter. Wilson has been facing pressure to turn on those cameras in the Stadium District ahead of the World Cup.
A federal judge is letting President Trump's executive order on mail-in voting move forward, at least for now. The Associated Press reports Judge Carl Nichols rejected a request from Democrats and civil rights groups who wanted the order blocked before this year's midterms. That order would create a federal list of eligible voters and direct the Postal Service to deliver mail ballots only to people on that list. The judge, a Trump appointee, says it's simply too early to step in because the order hasn't been put in place yet. Now, this could mean big changes here in Washington, where every registered voter automatically gets a ballot in the mail. Washington's Attorney General is co-leading a lawsuit with more than 20 other states fighting this order.
SeaTac Airport could be caught up in a new Trump administration plan targeting so-called sanctuary cities. Reuters reports Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullin says the administration is drawing up plans to stop processing international travelers and cargo at major airports in sanctuary cities. Seattle is on the Justice Department's list of those cities. Mullin told Fox News no decision has been made yet, but the idea is under active consideration. If it happens, it could effectively halt international flights at SeaTac, just as millions of foreign tourists head to the U.S. for next month's start of the FIFA World Cup. Airlines in the travel industry warn the move would be devastating for travelers and local economies.
Governor Bob Ferguson appears to be acknowledging Washington voters will get the final say on the state's new millionaire income tax. In a post on X, Ferguson writes, quote, "It looks like voters will get a say on whether to maintain the tax on income over $1 million. The group Let's Go Washington needs nearly 309,000 valid signatures by July 2nd to put it on the November ballot. They're well on their way. Initiative supporters say they've already gathered 92,000 signatures. Ferguson says he would veto any attempt by lawmakers to lower the $1 million income threshold on the new law.
It's 6:12. That's time for a check on the weather. And for that, we bring in KIRO 7 TV meteorologist Nick Allard. Sun's coming up. It's going to be gorgeous, Nick.
Without a doubt. Just know that everything is going to change into tomorrow. So we're going to go with sunshine today, no problem. And then we look for late in the day after getting to the upper 70s and lower 80s. We'll see a little bit of cloud cover. And I think then overnight, we're going to find maybe a little moisture coming in. And into tomorrow morning, you wake up to rain, decreasing throughout the day with mostly cloudy skies and temperatures to about 60. Now, there is another part of this. So we find, the sunshine here and some clouds, and then maybe a little bit of overnight rain. A lot of it's going to come off the Cascades and from east of the Cascades, where there could be some strong to severe thunderstorms. And I think because of that, we are keeping an eye on that, yes, but also knowing we're going to find some showers moving west overnight. If you're camping, you got to have a backup plan. I mean, you don't want to be outside sleeping in that, because that could be a real issue with thunderstorms possible this evening and overnight. And it'd also be very darn windy if you're in the Gorge area until tomorrow, where it'll just be breezy and then sunny and back into the 70s. So really hot there today, but cooling off, but it's still going to be active. And then after tomorrow, we're back into morning clouds, afternoon sun on Saturday and Sunday in the upper 60s and lower 70s. And then next week back into the 70s and 80s. So it does go back. We do have just this huge shift, though, from 80 to 60 in 24 hours.
We can handle it for one day.
There you go.
Thank you. Right now in Seattle, the sun's coming up. It's beautiful. It's 57 degrees.
6:13 now. Time for traffic on the threes. Here's Sully.
And we're hanging in there so far. We're starting to see a little red on the map, though, but overall, nothing that should surprise you. The heaviest drive continues to be getting through Lacey up towards DuPont. Again, the DuPont gate closed for construction at JBLM. We're already over 40 minutes to make that drive. So if you're not on the road going through that corridor now through Lacey, it's only going to be adding a little bit more volume as we go throughout the morning, if the last couple of days have been any indication. Most of Pierce County, though, is in pretty good shape. There is some heavy eastbound slowing on 512 getting down to the valley through Puyallup, and a little westbound on 410 into Sumner, but that's just the normal stuff. And then once you're to the Valley Freeway, you're going to bog down in Auburn, and then a little bit at the north end, under 45 minutes from Puyallup to Renton. Renton to Bellevue still under 20. Federal Way to Seattle's running about 40. That's about average. Coming down from the north end, though, over 40 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Brake lights right where they have normally materialized. Also seeing the slowing on westbound 522, where we lose the lane over the Snohomish River, and Highway 9 at the same Snohomish River area. But overall, by most days' standards, we're about where we should be. This report brought to you by Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. You can learn more at globalcu.org. I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
It's another chicken choke point, a choke point chicken.
My favorite. This time in Linwood.
A new Raising Cane's is about to open on 164th, and the county has put in special traffic management plans to handle the potential congestion.
Yeah, this could be a mess, Sully.
Yeah, it could be. And I know I like to talk about these. Last one didn't really materialize for the new Chick-fil-A off of 128th. I still don't think a lot of people know it's there, which is good. But, the chicken joint is taken over, the chicken finger joint, that is taken over the old Wells Fargo Bank branch on 164th, just east of I-5 in Linwood. If you're watching our YouTube live feed, I went up there recently, shot a whole bunch of video around the intersection. It is set to open on June 23rd. This will be Raising Cane's fourth location in Washington and the furthest north. So that's why we're anticipating a little bit of volume here. And now, while I've never had Raising Cane's or the sauce that I've heard is so delicious, I am very concerned about the impact this location is going to have on traffic. If you don't travel that area, 164th is one of the busiest east-west corridors in Snohomish County. It provides direct access to Mill Creek, and it backs up terribly every day in both directions, even though there are 3 lanes in each direction and a center turn lane in that spot. The restaurant is about 1,000 feet from the northbound I-5 off-ramp, using a right lane that is already a merging nightmare for people who are trying to get to the Walmart, and that right lane also becomes exit only about 500 feet east of the restaurant. There are also left-hand turns from 13th Avenue that are going to complicate things. So you add Raising Cane's to this, and we have the potential for chicken congestion. The concern is so great that the Snohomish County Public Works Department wants to try to prevent left turns into the parking lot from 164th and 13th Avenue, at least during the opening. This is to prevent those roads from backing up even more and shutting this intersection down. Drivers trying to do this would be crossing multiple lanes of traffic, which are usually backed up too. County Engineer and Deputy Public Works Director Doug McCormick says the team will be monitoring these turns closely.
I can see us potentially in the future, maybe if there's becomes a problem, having to limit that, where people will have to either go into one of the earlier driveways and then make their way over. Otherwise, they'll have to turn on 13th and then come around.
That could mean adding traffic control devices actually to prevent these turns in the future. We're talking little median curbs or things like that to prevent this action. During the opening, you will only be able to get into the Raising Cane's parking lot with a right turn from eastbound 164th or a right turn from northbound 13th Avenue. McCormick says the county is also requiring traffic control.
That is part of our plan is talking with them to have off-duty police officers, but whether that be Snohomish County or whether it be whoever's in that pool that day that they can hire to help manage traffic for that grand opening.
McCormick says they're still working on all the final plans, but he's pleased with the direction so far.
I'll be more comfortable when we talk to him more and make sure we have a good, solid plan in place. But I'm glad that we're having conversations with them, and I know we'll have a good plan by the time they have their opening.
And unlike the new Chick-fil-A location, like I mentioned, north of 128th, it hasn't been too bad. This new Raising Cane's will likely have a significant impact in the short term. Mill Creek residents or visitors might want to consider using 128th, going up one more exit until this initial wave of Tenders lovers has passed.
This is always something that comes up when one of these new fast food joints opens. I remember when we had El Pollo Loco open in Kent, and for weeks it was just backed up. It's back to normal now, but this is something I wasn't really sure that city planners, county planners would get involved with.
Well, it is. I think now that we've seen how this works, especially when it's the first or the close to first. Remember when the first Chick-fil-A in Bellevue opened? That shut down 405 for a month. Because of where it was right off the freeway. And that's why I have similar concerns here with this location for Raising Cane's, because it's just off one of the busiest freeway off-ramps in the region. And, there's already a lot of weaving and merging there. People jump over 3 lanes to try to get to the gas station or take a left there on 13th. People jog over lanes to try to get to the Walmart. And then that lane ends as well a little bit further to the east. There's a lot going on in about a 1,500-foot section of road there. And so that's why I'm generally concerned. Again, we'll see how it goes. I just want to warn people to be prepared. And county advice. Every time, Charlie, they do have one of these new openings, county, city planners get involved because they require, if you're going to put in a joint like this, they require traffic management plans, at least on the front end, to make sure that it can handle the congestion. Look at what happened at In-N-Out down in Vancouver. Even with that lot that can handle like 5 Disneyland Star Tours lines. Is the Star Tours still a thing? That's been a while since I've been there. I'm sure there's others. But, even that, it's still backed up on the freeway there, too, during the initial stuff. So just be prepared. If you don't know where it is, there's your map up at mynorthwest.com, plus the video and stuff. But, yeah, I mean, just be prepared. It's a chicken choke point.
Can someone explain to me the draw of chicken? What do we have, like 7 chicken joints now?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and I've
Some
never
of them
had
are just right across the street.
I've never
from each
had
other,
Raising
too.
Cane's. I've only had Popeyes like once. I remember when Popeyes opened in Everett. That was a huge deal. But it doesn't necessarily have to be chicken. There, when other places that have kind of this national draw that we don't have yet.
Yeah, like a new falafel joint or something like that.
Yeah, just something.
Well, and people with the Raising Cane specifically, people are obsessed with the sauce.
Have you had it?
I have, and I think it's fine. It's similar to the Chick-fil-A sauce. It's basically just some mayo and ketchup and other things. But people will get it in like a soda-sized cup. They'll get it with the sauce. They'll dip. They've got this Texas-type toast that they dip in it. It's a whole thing. So, I'm sure this is going to be a mess.
And by the way, Raising Cane's, if you want to send our advertising department a check for the free advertising you've gotten for the past 7 minutes, we'd appreciate it.
Choke Point's now sponsored. No, just kidding. They're our good friends at Carter Subaru. We don't want to start a fight, but yeah.
Okay.
We're not getting tenders for doing this story. There's no there's no payola here.
I mean, for now.
Listen, you.
MyNorthwest.com, we can find out more?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Thank you, Sully. It's 6:22.
Medetomidine, also known as rhinotrank, is used as a sedative for animals. It is not approved for humans and causes serious symptoms such as severe exhaustion, slow heart rate, and low blood pressure. Consuming the drug can be fatal, but stopping the use quickly can also lead to dangerous withdrawal symptoms. The number of reports of rhinotrank found in drugs seized by law enforcement has skyrocketed over 3,000% from 2023 to 2025, especially in the Northeast. It is believed to be made illegally in labs and mixed with street drugs, leading to people unknowingly injecting dangerous sedating substances. Because it is most often mixed with fentanyl, some of the effects can be reversed with a dose of Narcan. If you or someone you know is at risk for overdose, the CDC recommends carrying naloxone and keeping it accessible at all times. If you are concerned about substance use or contaminated medications, call or text 988 or seek medical care immediately. With this Medical Minute, I'm Jacqueline Lee.
All right, it's 6:23 now. We check traffic on the 3s. Here's Sully.
And we are looking at a typical Thursday out there. Brake lights are starting to really show up here and there. One of the spots, southbound I-5, past the forced merge in Northgate, as we are dealing with that now backed up all the way to 145th. So we're already over 45 minutes, maybe closer to 50, to go from Everett into Seattle. We're also seeing the brake lights in Linwood down through Bothell on 405, so it's getting closer to 50 minutes as well. Also seeing a little braking through Marysville, but nothing you can't handle. Going northbound through Lacey, definitely seeing a lot more red on the map. Give yourself about 45 minutes to make it from Olympia to Tacoma. Again, a lot of this is just volume and, of course, the continued closure of the DuPont Gate to JBLM because of construction. Once you get through that, it's not too bad. A little slowing over the Puyallup River Bridge and then a little bit up to 18. Federal Way to Seattle's a little over 40 minutes. We're getting closer to 45 from Puyallup to Renton. 410, a little slow westbound trying to get to the Valley Freeway. Same with eastbound 512 through South Hill. And then we're under 20 still from Renton to Bellevue. The Lake Bridges are still in very good shape. This report brought to you by the Seattle Mariners. Don't miss 8 fireworks nights this season presented by T-Mobile. First show May 29th. Get your tickets, mariners.com/fireworks.
Our forecast, we're going to heat up today and cool way down tomorrow. Around 80 for the high today, mostly sunny. And then tomorrow we're going to stay mostly cloudy. Showers roll through. Possibility of thunderstorms near the mountains and a high of 60 for tomorrow. The weekend looks nice. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine, highs in the mid and upper 60s. Right now it's 57 in Seattle.
Okay, coming up we have more of our coverage of that implosion at that chemical plant in Longview. Corwin Hake is live on the scene.
Luke Ducey has an update on the frustrations in North Seattle over a number of shootings there.
And of course, we'll have your opening bell report. That's on the way here on Seattle's Morning News.
KIRO Newsradio.
Get on the YouTube channel.
We're live all day on YouTube. Every show, every day.
Hang out with us. The whole gang's there.
And and you never know what you might see.
Back up the camera. Oh, my God.
Just search KIRO News Radio, then subscribe.
The Harnish Auto Family Super Sale is happening right now. The cost of living has gone up, but when buying a car, it doesn't have to feel like it. Zero Down delivers, no payments all summer, and exclusive 10-day deals in partnership with TAPCO Credit Union. With a wide selection of new vehicles and over 400 used vehicles across 5 dealerships, you'll find just what you're looking for. Visit Subaru, Volkswagen, and Chevy Buick GMC of Puyallup or Kia and Chevy of Everett. Harnish Auto Family. People matter.
Offers available OAC on select models. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Spring is a perfect time to make improvements that protect and add value to your home. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For decades, homeowners across the Pacific Northwest have trusted our team for roofing, siding, windows, and custom decking. This spring, save up to $3,000, or qualified homeowners can take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate.
Support comes from Amazon Business. You can't rely on guesswork to run your business. With Smart Business Buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience, paired with delivery options built for business. Empower your team today. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
This is Carla Hall for Eggland's Best. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, make sure you're choosing wholesome ingredients like Eggland's Best eggs to plus up your nutrition. With more than 6 times the vitamin D and double the omega-3s and vitamin B12 compared to ordinary eggs, Eggland's Best supports a healthy lifestyle. Available in so many delicious varieties: classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs. Visit egglandsbest.com to learn more.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate, and there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466, 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-2013. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-2013. That's 800-444-2013. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
This Memorial Day, get $525 off every window, $1,000 off every door, plus 12 months zero-interest financing. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 6:30. Environmental contamination, especially in the Columbia River, is a major area of concern at the site of the chemical tank implosion.
KIRO News Radio's Corwin Hake is live in Longview with the story. Corwin?
As recovery efforts continue for 9 workers missing and frankly presumed dead in the Nippon Dynawave chemical tank blast, state officials are also assessing the environmental impact, including an admission that some of the caustic white liquor spilled from the tank has now leached into the Columbia River. This is Brian Wood with Nippon Dynawave.
Our continuous monitoring for pH on our outfalls that go to the Columbia River showed spikes of high pH material at roughly the initial incident at 7:15 in the morning, and then approximately 2 or 3 hours later, there were 2 spikes of high pH material that went from our plant site to the Columbia River.
Now, passages, commonly referred to as ditches, usually carry fully decontaminated water away from the plant and eventually into the river. Those ditches are typically clean enough to provide fish habitat. In this case, though, state officials say 12 carp have been found dead in those passages from elevated pH. Governor Bob Ferguson says both the State Ecology Department and the National Environmental Protection Agency are helping assess the levels of contamination. All parties continue to stress air quality and the city water system are safe to the public. Live in Longview, Corwin Hake, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle's Department of Transportation has been ordered to tear down a series of barricades built by a neighborhood in North Seattle to protect themselves from ongoing drive-by shootouts.
Last week, a bullet from one of those shootings just missed a 6-week-old baby sleeping in his crib by inches. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey here with the latest.
Yeah, let's start with a statement from Mayor Katie Wilson's office. The statement said that those barricades just off of Aurora Avenue North near North 98th Street are unacceptable. They say neighbors can't block the street to first responders and trash trucks as well. Neighbors tell us they built those metal barricades themselves just last week to shut off access to the neighborhood because of things like this. I mean, it's shocking to hear, but neighbors say shootouts like that happen every week. Seattle police say a lot of those shootouts are between pimps, part of a prostitution turf war. And that neighbor, Jake, whose baby was almost hit, told KIRO 7 TV.
Could have lost my 6-week-old beautiful baby boy.
And now neighbors tell us in emails, quote, we're getting shot up by drive-bys. Let's stop their ability to drive by. And that makes no sense to open our streets to the pimps in reaction to SDOT and the mayor's next actions about removing those barricades. The mayor's office says in their statement, they're trying to study the issue about what to do next right now. In the meantime, they're going to install temporary traffic calming treatments to try to reduce cut-through traffic. Neighbors, though, not convinced. That means they'll install speed bumps, they say. One person telling us, what are they going to study? How many shootings happen per night with a speed bump? Another vowed to take matters into their own hands, again saying, quote, if they put in speed bumps, they'll get gravel dumps instead. Obviously going to tear them down, he says. No confirmation, though, Charlie, that these are speed bumps, in fact, and you asked that question.
Yeah, I reached out last night to a mayor's spokesperson, and I said, hey, neighbors are reading this as you're going to install speed bumps. What the heck is a speed calming device anyway? He said SDOT is still identifying the type of measure they're planning to use. That said, with regard to the options I've heard discussed so far, the answer to your question is no. They say it's not a speed bump. So These are coming down in the next 24, 48 hours, so I suppose we will find out.
Yep, and we'll find out what neighbors do next, because they say they will not just let this continue to happen.
We'll continue to follow it. Luke Ducey reporting live.
Time for a check on traffic. Now we do that every 10 minutes. Sully, what's up?
I can tell you, traffic calming devices includes a variety of different things. Usually they're those longer, not quite as high speed humps. Humps, not bumps. And they also include preventing some pockets where they prevent you from turning in certain locations so that only one direction can go through. Or they could put a planter in the middle and make it a roundabout. Yeah. So they're all, that includes there's so many things in that toolbox. Okay. But I would expect humps, not bumps. Again. Why do I know this? Okay, looking at the roads now. We've got 50 minutes to make the drive from Olympia to Tacoma with the heavy braking getting through DuPont. Again, the DuPont gate to JBLM closed. Tacoma's not bad. Federal Way to Seattle's about 45. 45 up the Valley Freeway as well. Eastbound 512 is a little heavy getting down the South Hill. Rented to Bellevue about 20 minutes, and coming down from the north end, we're over 50 already from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. This traffic report brought to you by KIRO Newsradio's app. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO News Radio app, listen to your favorite shows, get the latest news and updates sent right to your phone.
Our forecast, beautiful if you like it warm. Mostly sunny, 79 for today in Seattle. Tomorrow, much cooler, about 20 degrees, 60 the high with showers at times. Some thunder showers a possibility near the foothills. For Saturday and Sunday, though, we'll rebound for the weekend. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine, highs in the mid and upper 60s. Right now in Seattle, sun shining, it's 57.
From ABC News, Wall Street Now. Federal health officials say that around 8% of Americans went without health insurance last year, on par with recent years. But industry experts say that may rise as Trump administration changes to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act take hold. There's more controversy involving prediction markets. Federal prosecutors have charged a Google employee with fraud, alleging that information security engineer Michelle Spagnolo made over $1 million in bets on Polymarket that singer David would be Google's most searched person in 2025. Prosecutors say Spagnolo used confidential year-in-search data and already knew the answer when he placed his bets. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
The Washington Post reports this morning administration officials are trying to get President Trump on a new $250 bill. The bill would also feature the signature of the president. The woman in charge of the department which approves bill designs has now resigned from her post. It would be a departure from current policy, which says no living person can appear on U.S. currency.
Washington's insurance commissioner says Congress deserves part of the blame for the latest round of health insurance rate hike requests. As we reported Tuesday, 13 insurers want to raise premiums by an average of more than 22%. Patty Kuderer says letting enhanced premium tax credits expire last year is pushing healthier people out of the market.
It's a lose-lose. It's unfortunate that they didn't see that and pass those premium tax credits.
Last year, President Trump argued the subsidies to insurance companies should instead go directly to individuals so they can buy their own health care. That did not happen.
Boeing is ramping up production of its 737 MAX. CEO Kelly Ortberg says the company has cleared a key FAA review and is now allowed to build them at a rate of 47 per month.
We're off and rolling now for the 47 a month rate, and we should be there in the next couple months.
The FAA capped Boeing MAX production at 38 per month after a door plug blew out mid-flight in January of 2024. Last October, the cap was raised to 42. Boeing hopes to eventually have it to 52 per month.
Alaska Airlines is facing a possible six-figure fine for letting drunk passengers on flights. The FAA is proposing a $165,000 civil penalty against Alaska for alleged incidents on 11 flights from February 2024 to February 2025. FAA regulations prohibit airlines from allowing people on board an aircraft if they appear intoxicated. Alaska Airlines released a statement which reads in part, since the FAA shared these concerns with us over a year ago, we've made meaningful changes to ensure compliance with the FAA's expectations, including enhanced training for all flight attendants and customer service agents.
Just how big a paycheck do you need to buy a home in Seattle? A new Redfin report shows buyers must earn about $220,000 a year to afford the median-priced home. That's actually down 5.5% from last year. Nationally, Americans need about $117,000 just to buy a typical home. Redfin says that's about $30,000 more than the average household earns.
I'm sorry. I think you had a mistake there, man. I think you said $220,000 a year.
I did say that.
Okay.
And it was not a mistake.
All right. Well, taking a look at Wall Street right now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 206 points. The S&P 500 is down 10, and the NASDAQ is off by 48.
A word for KIRO 7. It starts on your street, in your home, with a problem you're struggling to solve. That's where KIRO 7 Investigates comes in. They show up, they ask hard questions, they get you answers. When your story is seen, change is not just possible, it's already happening. Watch KIRO 7 News weeknights 5 to 6:30 p.m. and at KIRO7.com/investigates.
Okay, Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
Well, we're going to take a look at the drive coming down out of Linwood, especially on 405. It's really bogging down. We'll break it down next.
The opening bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you, gradual breakers. You keep your eyes on the road, so you've seen it all. As long as it all happened directly in front of you, like a Swedish masseuse, your foot knows exactly the right amount of pressure to apply to the brake. That's why your passengers feel totally relaxed with you behind the wheel and occasionally super sleepy. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
Free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Nothing worse than clutter. With Closets by Design, everything will finally have its place. 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. ClosetsByDesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
Summertime means sunshine, baseball games, beach trips, hiking, and more. So don't let your bank stop you from having fun. Free checking at WaFd Bank is the way to go. There are no minimum balances or monthly maintenance fees to worry about. Plus, you'll get spending tools and the latest technology to help you stay on budget. Not only is WaFd Bank rated a best bank, we have more than 200 branches to serve you across 9 western states, so you have access wherever you are. Visit wafdbank.com to open your account. Additional fees may apply. Member FDIC.
6:43 now. We have traffic on the 3s. Chris Sullivan is watching the roads.
And we are already struggling, and I mean struggling out of the north end. If you're on 405 and coming down from Linwood, it is bumper to bumper all the way down through 522. We're already up to 40 minutes from Linwood and an hour from Everett to Bellevue, and really early.
It's a reminder that, yes, it doesn't get there very often, and only when it really has to.
$15 in the express toll lane coming down out of Linwood. It is about 10 minutes faster on I-5, 50 minutes from Everett to Seattle, and 30 out of Linwood, though you will hit the brakes really hard as you get down to the forced merge in Northgate. By the way, we only got one more week of this until we get the reprieve and the Ship Canal Bridge construction wraps up.
Everything's fine?
Yeah, everything will be great. I'll be talking about that a lot next week during choke points and whatnot. Looking at the rest of the map, we've got an Olympia to Tacoma drive of 50 minutes. That's behind schedule because the DuPont Gate remains closed to JBLM. And then Federal Way to Seattle is about 45. Valley Freeway about 45 as well. No shockers for you guys there. We've got the standard breaks right where they should be. A little over 20 minutes from Renton to Bellevue. The Lake Bridges are in fine shape. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Our forecast is sunny and warm today. We're headed for a high of 79 in Seattle. Showers tomorrow, much cooler, only 60. Threat of some thunder showers near the foothills, mostly cloudy. And then on Saturday and Sunday, not too bad. Clouds in the morning hours and sunshine in the afternoon with highs mid-60s Saturday, upper 60s on Sunday. Right now, sunshine and 57 in Seattle.
Coming up, an update on the war in Iran. We're going to head live to Qatar and hear from News Nation's Robert Sherman. That's on the way here on Seattle's Morning News.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
John Curley here. This baseball season, step up to the plate and get the price of a new heating and cooling system in just 60 seconds on your phone with no pressure. Don't wait. Call the comfort people. HomeComfortAlliance.com. That's HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Spring is here and it's time to call Integrity Roofing and Construction, your trusted local roofing team. They'll keep your home leak-free and protected all season long. Spike O'Neill here. Visit IntegrityRC.com to schedule a free roof assessment and video inspection today. Serving our community with over 10 years experience in roofing and restoration, their skilled team can help with everything from simple roof repair to full renovation. Schedule your free estimate today. Visit IntegrityRC.com. That's IntegrityRC.com or call 206-202-ROOF.
For more than 50 years, the voice Seattle trusts. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Good morning. It's 6:48. The war with Iran has reignited this week as the United States is confirming that Iran has launched airstrikes on U.S. targets.
This as both sides continue to tease potential peace negotiations, with the Strait of Hormuz still a focal point in the conflict.
Let's check in now live with News Nation correspondent Robert Sherman. He's in Doha, Qatar. Good morning, Robert. What do we know, first of all, about the strikes taking place?
Yeah, I mean, this is the nature of ceasefires, right? Is that you always run the risk of having flare-ups such as these, the exchanging of fire. So what happened, according to Central Command, is that they shot down 5 one-way attack drones from Iran that they said were threatening the Strait of Hormuz, and also hit Command and Control Center that was attempting to launch a 6th one. As a result of all of this, Iran fired missiles at an air base in Kuwait, which is where they say that the American attacks came from, and Kuwaiti air defenses had to shoot those missiles down. As a result of all of this, we're waking up to a region here in the Middle East in which Qatar, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, all coming out condemning Iran for the action. But I mean, the bigger picture here is the new level of uncertainty that exists here. These negotiations were already tenuous enough, and now that you have this flare-up here, a reigniting of the distrust that exists between both sides, especially considering the Strait of Hormuz is really at the heart of the initial deal that's trying to come together. a lot of questions about where we go from here over the coming days.
At what point is it considered more than a flare-up, Robert?
That's a good question. And I would say that it would have to come back to something very sustained. And you would really need to see one or both sides vocalize the ceasefire is over. No one has said that yet. Everyone is still maintaining that the ceasefire is in effect. This was an episode with everyone, shall we say, keeping their fingers on the trigger, warning that if this should happen again, if there should be an escalation, they in turn are prepared to up the ante. So I would emphasize the ceasefire is not over yet, according to both sides. We've seen an episode that has injected tension, but do we see more of them? Does this intensify from here? That all remains to be seen.
One of the stated goals for this war was to disable Iran from having any nuclear capabilities in terms of weapons in the future. Is there any indication that the Iranians are prepared to give up their enriched uranium?
That's such a good question. I actually have a statement here that came from one of the leaders inside of Iran who just within the last 24 hours redrew Iran's red lines, effectively saying that to them, their red lines are their ability to enrich uranium, their ability to stockpile uranium, and their ability to control the Strait of Hormuz. And they said that they will not move off of any of those. That's coming from the national security chief of Iran's parliament. Well, those red lines that are being drawn by Iran are frankly unbridgeable compared to the red lines being drawn by the United States. No stockpiling, not allowed to possess the enriched uranium that they already have. No one is allowed to control the Strait of Hormuz. Freedom of navigation must be restored. So, at face value, those two red lines, you can't bridge those. So someone is going to have to give or a deal can't be struck. But what I would say is different this go around is there is acknowledgement of trying to stagger this deal, try and get a short-term memorandum of understanding in place, which opens the Strait of Hormuz, punts the question of who controls it or doesn't control it to a later date, punts the nuclear issue to a later date, just gets the Strait of Hormuz opening and starts a new 60-day clock. That's what both sides are angling towards right now.
What is the current status? Is it completely shut down?
It's largely shut down. It's a small trickle of ships that are able to go through with the blessing of Iran. And from the naval blockade side, you've now had, over 110 ships that have been redirected and turned around. So, there's a bottleneck that is coming from two different directions here. One from the naval blockade, one from Iran pinching the Strait of Hormuz itself militarily. So while a couple of ships are able to get through here and there, again, by coordinating with the Iranian military, aside from that, you've got a lot of ships that are sitting on either side waiting for the next steps.
And if we just pull back for a second here, can you just speak to the Iranians now know they can block the Strait of Hormuz? That's something that they hadn't done before.
I think that you've hit the nail on the head of, a more long-term concern that exists here is because, that's the status of these negotiations right now. If the Strait of Hormuz reopens tomorrow, it's not because the United States muscled it open. It's not because of a cohesive defense strategy between the Gulf states that was able to protect the Strait of Hormuz to commercial traffic. It's because the Iranians agreed to reopen it. And that is the underlying concern here that is being echoed by the Gulf state diplomats that we have spoken with. Some, such as the UAE, are much more outspoken about this, who say there cannot exist a world in which Iran is at their own leisure able to choke off such a big portion of the global oil trade whenever they feel like it. That's a bigger concern that exists here, but I would say that's part of the long-term solution that needs to be addressed. The short-term, get it open with the 60-day memorandum of understanding.
All right, Robert, you are in Doha right now. Help us out with this. Qatar, I've heard it pronounced a million different ways. How do they pronounce it there?
Qatar is how they would pronounce it on the ground here.
Okay.
Qatar. Yes, exactly. But you're not wrong, because U.S. officials have said it all different ways, but that's how the locals would say it here.
Okay. Well, we got it straight from Qatar.
That debate has been going on for years.
Sure has been. Robert Sherman, thank you so much for your time this morning. We will be checking in with you as this develops. It's time to get over to Sully for traffic.
It's almost like pulley up.
That's Puyallup, sir.
Oh, shoot. Not Puyallup?
No.
Which is how the Hewards say it. And as the first family of Puyallup, I do whatever Brock and his brothers and his dad say. Looking at the drive now, we do have a new stall to tell you about. This one's right in the heart of Renton, northbound 405, right at Sunset. HOV lane is blocked, and we are bumper to bumper back to Renton, and we've kind of gone to a quick all stop there. We're up over to 40 minutes now from Renton to Bellevue, so 15 minutes worth of a delay. This doesn't look to be too severe. I'm hoping once IRT gets there, they can move this thing out of the way, but right now that's our biggest issue, and that has really caused some spillover on northbound 167. We're up to 30 minutes out of Auburn and 50 out of the Puyallup area, maybe a little more. Looking at eastbound 512, a little slow getting into and through Puyallup. Northbound I-5 really starting to bog down through Lacey. We've got that DuPont gate closed at JBLM. 50 minutes to Tacoma, and we've got an hour drive from Everett to Bellevue, 50 minutes from Everett to Seattle. This report brought to you by Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org.
Our forecast mostly sunny, 79 the high for today. Enjoy. Tomorrow will only be around 60 with showers. Right now it's 56 in Seattle.
We're going to head live to Longview, the scene of that devastating chemical tank implosion. We'll be speaking with Corwin Hake live coming up here on Seattle's Morning News.
Thanks for calling CM Heating.
I need an AC tune-up, and one room isn't comfortable.
We could do both. And if it's time to upgrade, get a free furnace with a qualifying cooling system. Plus, we help maximize rebates.
Get a tune-up or free estimate at cmheating.com. CMHEA HL751LW.
Nick, you know what my dad always used to say?
Oh, which thing? Let me guess. If you put anything on a hot dog besides mustard, it's un-American?
Okay, that's true. Okay, but no, about the word worry. Remember he used to say about the word worry?
Yes, that it's not a verb, but it actually is.
I know it's a verb, but Nick, his point was nothing comes from worrying. You can sit here and worry about all the news and all about the chaos in the world. You worry about your health, but nothing comes of it. You have to take action.
Right.
Like, for instance, you and I, we go into Longevity Medical Clinic. That's an action. It's about taking that action. Like, people can go to Longevity Medical Clinic, take the free health analysis, and then they can find out how they're aging and the things they can do in order to slow down the process to have a big, full, rich life so you can enjoy a hot dog with whatever you want on.
And now worry is a verb.
See, there you go. So it all starts for you taking action. I was a patient at Longevity long before I started doing these commercials. So get your free health analysis. Go to lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
Celebrate America's 250th with our limited edition O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner. 2 for $8 at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks so you can make smarter decisions faster. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
If your home is 20 years old or more, it might be time to have your roof inspected. Your roof is your home's first line of defense, and at Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we'll help it last as long as possible. Our trained and licensed crew will evaluate your roof, repairing when we can and offering replacement options only when necessary. Plus, every new install comes protected with a full year of free maintenance on us. Visit GuardianRoofing.com today.
Under these arches, opposing teams are put to the test. Can they hear themselves over the boom of the 12s? Can they withstand the Seattle elements? Can they compete against us?
Touchdown! Seahawks!
This city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Lumen Field and experience what this city lives for. Visit Seahawks.com today.
The Harnish Auto Family Super Sale is happening right now. The cost of living has gone up, but when buying a car, it doesn't have to feel like it. Zero Down delivers, no payments all summer, and exclusive 10-day deals in partnership with Tapco Credit Union. With a wide selection of new vehicles and over 400 used vehicles across 5 dealerships, you'll find just what you're looking for. Visit Subaru, Volkswagen, and Chevy Buick GMC of Puyallup or Kia and Chevy of Everett. Harnish Auto Family. People matter.
Offers available OAC on select models. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
How does your roof look after this winter? Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Spring into action today. Save $3,000 on a new roof, siding, deck, or windows. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Guys, it's Men's Health Month at Revive Seattle. Get a free comprehensive wellness panel. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Valued at $400. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The price of oil is up again this morning amid more hostilities in the Middle East. That is a key inflation gauge. Shows inflation accelerated in April to the highest level in 3 years. The Commerce Department reporting inflation jumped to 3.8% in April compared to a year earlier, due mostly to the rising price of gas.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune, in a radio interview, said Republicans will need to focus on Americans' economic concerns ahead of November's election. Those concerns backed by new data showing food insecurity in the U.S. now worse than during the height of the COVID pandemic.
ABC's Sophie Flay. The Justice Department has opened an investigation into whether E. Jean Carroll, the longtime advice columnist who said Donald Trump sexually assaulted her in a Manhattan department store 30 years ago, lied during the course of civil litigation against the president, according to a person familiar with the matter. Australia is suing U.S. company 3M over forever chemicals. This is ABC News. ABC News has learned that the Coast Guard is preparing to send divers to search the Bahamas for Lynette Hooker, the Michigan woman missing since early April.
Her husband, Brian, told authorities she fell off their dinghy during a storm as they were returning to their sailboat. He described the moment to our Victor Okendo.
The wind blew us apart so fast that I think she tried to swim back to the sailboat, back to our sailboat.
But now officials claim GPS data recovered from Brian's electronic devices does not match what he told investigators.
ABC's Hannah Bata. Locals and tourists are coping with that extreme heat wave that's been blanketing Europe for almost a week now. American Jose Abrigo with a rather unconventional cooling option in Paris.
Well, champagne's a really good way to deal with the heat, but also we're from Los Angeles, so we're used to the hot weather.
The Eiffel Tower and other popular tourist sites putting misting stations in place and trying to air condition elevators to keep visitors from passing out in the heat. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
7:02 now here on Seattle's Morning News. Here's what's happening.
The death toll from the chemical tank implosion in Longview at the paper mill is officially up to 2. We have team coverage this morning with Corwin Hake at the scene, Luke Ducey in the studio.
SeaTac Airport could lose all international flights. Reuters reports Homeland Security Secretary Mark-Wayne Mullen says the Trump administration is weighing pulling customs officers from sanctuary city airports, and Seattle is on that list.
And the policy advisor leading Mayor Katie Wilson's promise of 4,000 new shelter beds has resigned. John Grant stepped down yesterday, the second major exit from Wilson's office in weeks.
And it's time to check traffic now. Traffic on the 3s with Chris Sullivan.
Yeah, we've got a problem on southbound I-5 right at the forced merge in Northgate. Not a good spot for there to be a crash, but it looks like probably people got tangled up while trying to make that merge going southbound I-5 because of the express lanes being closed. The HOV lane is closed and the left general purpose lane is closed right there as you exit at Northgate. And it was already slow, but now it's even worse. We're up to over 40 minutes from Linwood to Seattle and over an hour from Everett. You add that to what is a normal day on the other side of the lake with about an hour and 5 from Everett to Bellevue, and we're not in a good spot. Looks like we have moved the crash from the HOV lane on 405 northbound in Renton right at the Sunset interchange off to the right side now. It looks like the right lane may be blocked, not the HOV lane, as they have moved that over to the other side of the freeway, but we've got about a 40-minute trip from Renton to Bellevue, and all of that slowing is just right there there from the 167 corridor. Speaking of the Valley Freeway, we've got 45 to 50 minutes to make that drive, probably closer to 50 at this point. Olympia to Tacoma, 45 to 50, depending on how you hit the volume in Lacey. It's another slow day with the DuPont Gate being closed to JBLM, and Federal Way to Seattle's running around 45. This report brought to you by Carpet Liquidators. Why pay retail? Save big with the largest carpet and hardwood flooring selection at Carpet Liquidators. 7 locations. They've got you covered at Carpet Liquidators.
Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
7:04 now. Emergency responders in Longview say recovering the 9 workers still missing in the Nippon Dynawave tank implosion remains their top priority. But searchers face ongoing difficulties.
KIRO News Radio's Corwin Hake begins our team coverage live from Longview.
And Manda and Charlie, one of those difficulties is water. The search area is submerged under thousands of gallons of it. Cowlitz 2 Fire and Rescue Chief Scott Goldstein says a pumping operation is making progress, but he says the scene is still murky.
We have searched the area that is searchable. We do not have the ability to state that we have located all 9, nor the ability to state where those 9 were.
Some more details have emerged, among them that the explosive rupture at 7:15 Tuesday morning happened as a shift change at the plant was in progress. Goldstein says workers, including those killed, wounded, and still missing, were located in what he calls normal operational areas.
So there were people in this area. This was an administrative workspace. This was a break room space. There were operational spaces. They were in their workspaces when this blast occurred.
Now, to assist in the recovery, Governor Bob Ferguson is deploying National Guard members with specialized search and recovery skills. Live in Longview, Corwin Hake, KIRO News Radio.
And I'm Luke Ducey in the KIRO News Radio studio. More on that white liquor chemical that leaked at the plant. We now know some of that chemical has leaked into the Columbia River. It is so corrosive, it's used to break down wood chips into pulp and paperboard. A source close to the investigation tells us it was also melting the protective equipment used by first responders. As for those 9 workers still missing, here's Battalion Chief Matt Amos.
As individuals are recovered from the site, they'll undergo decontamination before being transported to the Cowlitz County Coroner's Office for identification and family notification.
Now you heard Corin tell us that the National Guard has been activated to help with recovery of those missing workers. There had been talk of bringing in the National Guard or Homeland Security because they have the equipment to deal with weapons of mass destruction, WMDs. So they are also equipped, the thinking is, to deal with that white liquor chemical. That's how awful of a chemical it is. If you're watching on the YouTube feed, let's shift gears a little bit. I want to show you a flow chart from the Department of Ecology that they sent. The source of ours tells us that a spillway system and diking system were activated at the time of the implosion of that tank and mostly contained the spill, sending that white liquor into the city's ditch system. Killed about a dozen fish or so far is what they're reporting. But the flushing system, this is a map that we want to show you from the Department of Ecology. Their flushing system takes water from the Cowlitz River, and as you follow on this map, this kind of arrow that winds through around the city, takes water from the Cowlitz and shoots it through the ditch system where it dumps then into the Columbia on the other end after it's been diluted. That's what's happening right now. Officials are also investigating any environmental effects in the Columbia River. According to the Seattle Times, Longview officials say the drinking water, though, in the city is safe to drink. Amanda and Charlie, a federal investigation is now underway.
You said it was melting the protective gear?
Melting the PPE, yeah, that first responders, when they first got there in the scene, they were going, and you know how they are, it's their job, and they want to get to the scene and find the people and rescue them, and they couldn't because that stuff is so corrosive, it was eating away at their protective gear.
Poor people. Okay. Thank you, Luke. It's 7:08.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
It's 7:08. There's an uplifting blast from the past. ABC.
There you go.
Wow. Glad to have you with us. It's Thursday, Friday Eve, May 28th.
Glad to have you here. Sully is in the studio. We're continuing our debate over speed bumps versus speed humps.
There is no debate. They're just different.
They are not different.
They are totally different. They serve different purposes. They serve different masters. They're used in different circumstances.
I actually saw a street sign in Woodinville last weekend that said speed humps. It caught my attention.
Felt kind of like going over a speed bump, though, didn't it?
No,
not at all.
Actually, it doesn't at all, Charlie.
They're much more relaxed.
Like a soft pillow.
Maybe we need to get our expert on this. Can we get Humpy from the Mariners on here?
Good
to
call,
see if
Sully.
I'm sure they must know the difference.
Let's move along, shall we?
Hey, remember when several Seattle athletes had their homes broken into a few months ago? Well, the same thing is happening in L.A., and according to investigators, it's the same group of criminals behind the thefts. We're going to get the full scoop from ABC News' Brad Garrett.
And coming up in the 7:35 commentary, Charlie?
Well, ST4 is on the horizon. What is Sound Transit actually promising in the next costly phase? I'll go over that at 7:35.
It's 7:09 now. International travel through SeaTac Airport could be in serious jeopardy under a plan being floated by the Trump administration. Homeland Security Secretary Mark-Wayne Mullen tells Reuters his department is drawing up plans to halt customs and immigration processing at airports in sanctuary cities, including Seattle. Mullen says local Democrats in those cities are letting federal agents do their jobs. No final decision's been made, but the timing is raising alarms. Of course, the FIFA World Cup kicks off next month with millions of international visitors expected to fly into the U.S.
Washington's all-mail-in voting system could be facing major disruption before the November midterms. A federal judge in Washington, D.C. last night refused to block President Trump's executive order limiting mail voting. This is according to the Associated Press. The judge said it's too early to act because the order hasn't actually been implemented. If it is enforced, the Postal Service would only deliver ballots to voters on federally approved lists submitted about 60 days before the election. That's a problem for Washington State, where voters can register and update their information right up until Election Day. County auditors could be left scrambling. Some eligible voters might never get a ballot. Washington is part of a multi-state lawsuit still challenging the order in court.
Seattle's police union and the mayor's office are clashing over surveillance cameras. Mayor Katie Wilson threatened the union with policy violations after SPOG posted on social media a video of a Capitol shooting saying the cameras helped solve the crime. SPOG President Kent Liu tells KIRO Radio's Jake and Spike,
We're going to put our opinion out for public safety. I don't know why the mayor's office appears to be fighting for the criminal more than the victim.
The mayor's office later backed off after SPOG's attorneys threatened a federal lawsuit. It all comes as pressure mounts to activate the city's CCTV network ahead of this summer's World Cup.
Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson losing the point person for her biggest homeless shelter initiative. According to the Seattle Times, policy advisor John Grant stepped down from his role yesterday. Grant was tasked with delivering the mayor's promise of 4,000 new shelter beds, but his sudden exit follows reports of a deteriorating relationship with the Seattle City Council. The mayor recently replaced her chief of staff in an effort to smooth things over. Times reports two other staffers, Jen Chan and Edie Gillis, will also be leaving the mayor's office soon.
For the first time this season, the Mariners sit in first place in their division. They overtook the Athletics after beating them 9-1, completing a 3-game sweep. Rob Refsnyder got the scoring starting in the first inning.
3-run home run, and the Mariners are off to the races.
Julio Rodriguez added another 3-run homer in the 8th, his 10th of the season. The team is officially rolling. Next up, the Mariners come home for a 3-game series against the Diamondbacks starting tomorrow.
All right, it's 7:12 now. Let's get a check on the weather with KIRO 7 TV meteorologist Nick Allard. Nick, did I see on a TV screen there's some unsettled weather like in southeast Washington?
There will be,
Yeah.
I think we're going to see some thunderstorms east of the Cascades later today, and I think it's going to be, well, even in the mountains. So east of the Cascades today and in the Cascades this afternoon and evening, there'll be widespread chances for thunderstorms, possibly severe thunderstorms, and that some of that cloud cover is going to push west later today and into tonight, and I think you'll find maybe a few of those showers drift over us overnight and into tomorrow morning, and it will be windy east of the Cascades. For us, though, west, we just see sunshine and a little bit of late-day cloud cover. There could always be a shower or two that survives the journey, but I don't think so, and I also don't really think we have to worry about thunder unless you just get one randomly strong enough storm that just hang together enough. But if you live in the foothills, you'll probably see some lightning off in the distance, but we generally don't have to worry about that. We'll be at around 79 to 80 from Seattle south, about mid-70s from Everett north to the border, and then overnight. We're going to find increasing onshore wind and a little bit of rain to start the day, and then we'll only top out tomorrow at 60. Be a little blustery with just cloudy conditions and rain, and then it tapers off in the afternoon. It'll be drier, but still only like 60 degrees and mostly cloudy. We should see morning clouds and afternoon sun this weekend in the upper 60s and lower 70s, and then next week we get warm again. I think temperatures are going to be back into the upper 70s and lower 80s. But yeah, if you're camping, if you're going to Brandy, I think you should have a backup plan tonight. Maybe even just sleeping in your car. It's one of the safer places you can be, besides if you can't get to a building. But, I would plan for that, because it could be. We have friends like staying at the Sun Lake State Campground, for example, and they asked, should we try to find something else? I said, yes, you should, because it's enough where severe thunderstorms could be anywhere east of the Cascades. You want to be careful and have a backup plan.
That's one of my favorite campgrounds, too.
Me too.
Okay.
I've been going there since I was a kid.
There you go. Well, we'll check in with you next time, Nick. Right now in Seattle, it's sunny and 56.
And it's time for a check on traffic. For that, here's Chris Sullivan.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine the southbound I-5 drive getting worse through Shoreline, but it has. Not only do we have the forced merged there because of the loss of the express lanes in the southbound direction, we now have a crash right at the exit to Northgate, right before that express lane merge. The HOV lane and the left general purpose lane are blocked, and we're backing up back towards the Edmonds exit. We're already up to about an hour and 10 minutes from Everett into Seattle, with 50 of those minutes from Linwood. That's actually about the same or just a little bit slower than southbound 405, which is also running about an hour from Everett to Bellevue, bumper to bumper from Linwood down through 522 before breaking free. Still have the right lane partially blocked on northbound 405 as you get past Sunset, working your way through Renton. Renton to Bellevue's at 40 minutes. Those S-curves are very slow. Once you get through there, it's like the Indy 500 the rest of the way on up into Bellevue. Behind that, the Valley Freeway, 50 minutes from end to end. Olympia to Tacoma, 50 on that drive because of the braking through Lacey. Don't forget, the DuPont Gate to JBLM remains closed. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime.
Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
It's now 7:16. Well, we are no stranger to property theft around here in the Seattle area. In recent months, Seattle celebrities like Julio Rodriguez, Richard Sherman, and Macklemore have been the subjects of elaborate, dangerous home invasions.
Now police in Los Angeles are connecting a string of over 20 home burglaries to the same network of criminals.
ABC News crime and terrorism analyst Brad Garrett is with us. Brad, it's so great to have you here on KIRO News Radio.
Well, happy to you, Amanda.
What do we know about these guys?
So there seems to be both the two places you cited, as well as other locations across the country, like NFL players, NBA players, etc., having their houses burglarized. And the common theme in many of these, and in particular the ones that just occurred in recent months in Los Angeles, tend to be people from South America. And I've talked about a version of this story before, but it seems that people will come over to the U.S., let's say from Peru, for example, maybe on a tourist visa for 30 days. But the intention here is to come and burglarize as many houses as they can. I presume they connect with someone here that's already sort of laid out what they're going to do. They pick out houses. They do pre-surveillance to figure out sort of the movements of people in or around a house. They'll even set up surveillance cameras. They use Wi-Fi jammers to shut off your phones. And if you have a wireless system, cameras, etc., motion detectors, you can shut those down if they're wireless. They do all of that, and then they eventually figure out when's the best time to go into your house. They burglarize it. And then they move the property, I think, presumably through a number of possible venues. There are people that are actually professional resellers that take stolen property and dispose of it in various means. Now, you could take it to a pawn shop. That's pretty risky since they tend to have a relationship with the police. I think some of it gets shipped overseas. But it's sort of the continuum of this, Amanda, is, it seems to me, that there's this steady flow of individuals from South America that are coming here to do this, and that's why they keep popping up at various locations, around the country.
Hey, Brad, long time no speak. I have observation here, and the people who are getting targeted, they have very public schedules. That has to help out the bad guys, right?
Well, certainly, yes. Certainly, if you're some famous star, celebrity, basketball player, football player, hockey player, your schedules many times, in particular sporting folks, it's all published. If you play for the Lakers and, they're playing the Pacers tomorrow night, then that the following basketball players are in Indiana and not in California. It's sort of the obvious when it comes to those. And the same is true. And I think maybe there are people that are high profile and wealthy that are now not publishing where they're going day in and day out, which should, would be a good thing to do.
In the case of Richard Sherman, Brad, his wife was home at the time, unhurt, but obviously terrified. Has anyone in L.A. been hurt in these burglaries?
Not that I'm aware. I mean, these type of burglaries, Amanda, they don't want to confront anybody. And if they're unfortunate or stupid enough to go into a house, then you may get whatever you get on the other side of the door. But they're banking on, and I can recall a number of cases where folks had fairly decent security systems, but they didn't have them turned on. So that's one of the lacking things that seems to happen in some situations. But obviously burglaries, there's a built-in risk for everyone if in fact there's somebody on the other side of the door. So it's a factor, and occasionally I think they do run into that.
So you have these criminals slipping into and out of the country. What are people supposed to do to protect themselves from this?
So I would say the following, that if you have a wireless system, in other words, cameras, motion sensors, lights that come off and on, and it's all wireless, there's a built-in vulnerability that I mentioned a few minutes ago. You can hardwire all of that. Now, granted, that's expensive. You have to do, it's more intrusive on your house, etc. That's one way around you not losing your system. Making sure that you have the type of windows that have the type of security locks that they can't just be, unless you just would break out the window, which I think these folks, some have actually done that, but I think that they don't want to do that because it attracts attention for the obvious reason. And have motion sensors, have light sensors, and many experts would say have a dog. A big dog, a little dog, but a dog that barks. Because typically burglars don't want to deal with dogs.
No, go for the 5-pound Chihuahua. That's what works at my house.
I'm sure. I used to have a Chihuahua. God bless you for having one. That's all I got to say.
Brad, is it possible that they might be able to take one of my yappy dogs, though?
You could put a poster, a little sign on them.
In these cases in L.A., has there been any progress in tracking these people down and making arrests?
Well, they have 7 people in custody. Now, my guess is there's more of them than that. Have they tracked down people that have gone back to, a South American country? Probably have done that. It would depend a lot on extradition treaties with that country, whether somebody could actually be brought back. And so we'll see. But yeah, the problem, as I mentioned earlier, Amanda, is that this constant flow of people. It's kind of like, okay, 7 get arrested, but we have 10 more coming next week, that kind of thing.
So this is organized crime, right? Is this like a known group that's doing this?
I'm not aware, and I haven't heard law enforcement talk about I guess what you're saying is there something like a cartel or a particular gang or whatever? I haven't heard that. Now, it has to have some apparatus to it because there's too many moving parts. You got people come into the country. They can obviously do that through consulates and embassies in their country. But then you have to have somebody that's connected at the other end that can provide all this equipment and to also teach you how to use it. And then you have to get rid of the properties. There's a lot of moving parts here where, from my perspective, you would need experienced people on the ground that are sort of here all the time. They may not participate in the burglaries. They may let this crowd, because some of them are going to get caught, like these 7. But there has to be sort of folks that have their particular job as they move from burglary to burglary.
Brad, wonderful to chat again. Thank you so much. Former FBI agent, ABC News crime and terrorism analyst Brad Garrett.
7:23 now. We check traffic on the 3s with Chris Sullivan.
And we are working with a pretty significant crash involving multiple cars on southbound I-5 right at Northgate. Not a good spot to have this crash. The HOV lane is blocked and the left general purpose lane is blocked. We've had a couple of fire trucks now show up to create an even bigger safety zone there. And so this is right as you break off to Northgate Way. So right before the normal forced merge where the express lanes are not open. And so we're up to 50 minutes from Linwood to Seattle and about an hour and 10 all the way from Everett. For the other side of the lake, we've settled into that hour and 20-minute trip from Everett to Bellevue with an hour from Linwood. So even better on I-5, even with this crash, than 405. 405 northbound, though, still struggling mightily through the Renton S curbs. It's at a crawl from before the 167 up past Sunset where the right lane remains blocked for this crash, and there is significant spillover on the Valley Freeway from 212th on up. We've got a 30-minute trip out of Auburn and over 50 all the way from Puyallup. We're about 50 minutes from Olympia to Tacoma, a little bit better than this time yesterday, off and on braking through Lacey up through DuPont. Again, the DuPont gate to JBLM closed for construction. Federal Way to Seattle's about 50 minutes. The Lake Bridges are fine. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Weather, terrific. Mostly sunny, 79 for today. Tomorrow will look much different. We'll see mostly cloudy skies, showers, and about 20 degrees cooler. The weekend looks nice, though. Right now in Seattle, it's 56.
Coming up, we're going to continue our coverage of the tragic implosion at a plant in Longview. Corwin Hake is live on the scene.
And Luke Ducey has an update on the frustrations in North Seattle over a number of shootings there.
And in today's 7:35 commentary, what's ahead for Sound Transit? Supposed to find out today. You know, one thing for sure, going to be expensive.
This is Seattle's Morning News.
This hour is brought to you by CM Heating.
Join the conversation and text your favorite show on the KIRO News Radio text line at 888-973-KIRO. That's 888-973-5476. Powered by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
If you've been thinking about a new Subaru Outback, now is the time. Carter Subaru is Seattle's only Subaru dealership, and right now they have over 800 Subarus in stock, including the 2026 Outback with 2.9% APR. Perfect for escaping town the second the sun comes out. Carter Subaru in Ballard, Shoreline, or online at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 5/31/26.
Joe Fallon did something smart. He saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With that money, he commissioned a portrait of himself. Does Joe already know what he looks like? Yes. Do guests know what he looks like? Also yes. But not as art. It's Joe's savings, and if he wants to spend it on a velvet painting of himself with a white tiger at his feet, we say, roar, Joe, roar. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Got any markdowns on oil?
We've got many markdowns on oil.
How about on that new STP Any Mileage?
You'll save $5 when you buy 5 quarts of STP Any Mileage with an oil filter and get up to 5,000 miles of protection.
Heck of a markdown for quite a lot of miles.
At AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started backing up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right. No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise. There's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Your medication for enlarged prostate is working. That's what you tell yourself. You're up 3 times a night instead of 5. The urgency is manageable. The stream's not great, but it's fine. That's the problem. Fine. Enlarged prostate, or BPH, doesn't pause because the medication takes the edge off. The prostate keeps growing. The bladder keeps working harder. And over time, those changes can be harder to reverse. But surgery? Not for you, right? Aquablation is not the surgery you're picturing. It's the only ultrasound-guided, robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Don't wait until things become unbearable. Find an Aquablation urologist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466. 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
Our local tax expert and advocate Greg Nunn understands the pressure that comes from owing money to the IRS. Don't let that pressure build. Call None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning, mid 7:30. Recovery specialists, including members of the Washington National Guard, continue their search this morning for the remains of 9 workers missing in the Longview paper mill disaster.
Emergency responders yesterday declared the site stable enough to ensure a safe search. The 2 workers confirmed dead have now been identified. Gilbert Bernal, who died in the blast, and Dylan Miller, who passed away yesterday from his injuries.
So what happened to the hundreds of thousands of gallons of caustic chemicals that escaped from that ruptured tank in Longview? Experts continue to probe that question as day 3 of the emergency response gets underway.
We get more from KIRO News Radio's Corwin Hake live in Longview.
Now, that tank contained more than 500,000 gallons of white liquor when it ruptured. Estimates say that what's left amounts to about 25,000 gallons. What's clear is this.
Roughly 500,000 gallons of product left that tank.
Scott Goldstein, Cowlitz 2 Fire and Rescue Chief, implies most of that product was contained on site, although we now know at least some of it ended up in the Columbia River. Brian Wood is with Nippon Dynawave.
There were 2 spikes of high pH material that went from our plant site to the Columbia River. That information was reported to Ecology as required by our permit.
pH spikes are not considered a serious health risk, but as a more thorough environmental assessment is performed, experts are advising the public to stay away from an area of the Columbia River to the immediate north of the blast site. And you know, Amanda and Charlie, in this heavily industrial area, that's not bad advice even under normal conditions.
Corwin Hake reporting live. Thank you, Corwin. It's 7:32.
Seattle's Department of Transportation has been ordered to tear down a series of barricades built by a neighborhood in North Seattle to protect themselves from ongoing drive-by shootouts.
Just last week, a bullet from one of those shootings just missed a 6-week-old baby sleeping in his crib. Well, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with the latest.
In a statement, Mayor Katie Wilson's office now calls those barricades just off Aurora Avenue North near North 98th Street unacceptable. Now, on our YouTube feed, you can see that what these are. They're large metal planters, if you haven't seen these. Residents installed them in the middle of their streets to stop traffic flowing in from Aurora Avenue. They say there have been shootouts on those streets of theirs. And that neighbor, Jake, whose baby was almost hit, told KIRO 7 TV.
Could have lost my 6-week-old beautiful baby boy.
Seattle police say, yes, there have been shootouts there between pimps, which are part of an ongoing prostitution turf war. However, the mayor's office says residents just can't block the street from first responders or even trash trucks. They're going to study the issue, they say, but in the meantime, they're going to remove the blockades and install, quote, temporary traffic calming treatments to try and reduce cut-through traffic. The reaction to that statement from one neighbor, quote, what are they going to study? How many shootings happen per night with a speed bump? Now, Charlie, you asked the mayor's office if they're going to install speed bumps specifically. They said no to you, but they didn't tell us exactly what they're going to do.
They didn't say what it was, and now I'm feeling kind of foolish because I should have asked perhaps more in depth, because as I'm learning this morning, there's a difference between speed bumps and speed humps, and I didn't ask about speed humps.
Let's hope it doesn't come down to one letter in differentiation of a word. But, obviously this is an ongoing issue that we will be covering as we go here.
Luke Ducey reporting live. Time to get over to traffic with Chris Sullivan.
Humps, not bumps. Yeah, it's very important, and I could just see it when you say things to departments of transportations or mayor's offices. If you don't say things specific down to the granular, then they can deny you whatever you said. But yeah, humps and bumps are different when it comes to the way things. But for the regular people, no, they're not. They're the same kind of thing, but I feel you. Looking at the drive right now, we have a pretty nasty crash on southbound I-5 right at Northgate, HOV lane, left general purpose lane blocked right before the forced merge. We're looking at about an hour and 20-minute trip from Everett to Seattle, with an hour of that from Linwood. We're up to an hour and a half or more now from Everett to Bellevue. Not only do we have the normal stuff there, but we also have a stall block in the right lane approaching 85th and Kirkland. Olympia to Tacoma's got about a 50-minute trip. Federal Way to Seattle over 50 now, definitely bogging down towards the north end of that Boeing Field area. Valley Freeway over 50 because we still have a right lane blocked on northbound 405 in Renton, right at SR 900 at Sunset. 45 minutes to 50 minutes now from Renton to Bellevue. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
And our forecast, a beautiful day. Enjoy, because tomorrow will look much different. Mostly sunny, 79 for today. Tomorrow, cloudy, showers, much cooler, about 60 for tomorrow. For the weekend, we'll rebound. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine, highs in the mid and upper 60s. Right now in Seattle, the sunshine, it's 56.
Seattle's morning news on KIRO News Radio.
Time for the 7:35 commentary. You know ST4 is coming, right? At 1:30 this afternoon at Union Station in Seattle, the Sound Transit Board will vote on which promises to keep and which ones to quietly set aside. The resolution updates the ST3 plans voters approved back in 2016 to fit inside what the agency can actually afford now. The plan voters passed was supposed to cost $53.8 billion. Already, it is $34.5 billion short. Oops. So today, the board picks which projects survive, which get half built, and which get pushed off into the future where nobody has to answer for them yet. They'll also quietly vote to delay the next long-range plan update to 2028. Remember that date. It matters more than it sounds. We'll circle back to it. Let me tell you what voters did approve in 2016. A light rail station at 15th and Market in Ballard, the Alaska Junction Shop in West Seattle, the Tacoma Dome extension, Everett, all of it on the ballot. People voted yes, and property owners, among others, have been paying for it ever since. 9 years now. Well, here's what today's vote likely delivers. West Seattle gets built, but the Avalon station gets cut. Ballard gets planning money, but not construction money. Enough to keep the consultants billing and not much else. Parts of the Everett extension get deferred. These aren't new projects somebody dreamed up last week. These are the projects you already paid for and aren't getting. Now who's paying? Sound Transit collects from a district of about 3.4 million people. Property taxes, sales taxes, car tabs. That $34.5 billion shortfall works out roughly to an extra $10,000 for every man, woman, and child. The renter in Renton, the retiree in Linwood, the family in Kent with 2 car seats and 1 income. And the car tabs tell the whole story. 2021 Ford F-150 inside the district pays $615 a year in tab fees. The same truck in Grant County pays $108. That gap is the system. And today's vote is the admission. Even that wasn't enough. So do I think $34.5 billion is the final number? I do not. If the pattern holds, that is the opening bid. Just look at the history. Sound Move in 1996, ST2 in 2008, ST3 in 2016. It's the same play every time. The promise is big. The cost grows. The plan gets quietly reshaped. And then the next ballot measure shows up asking for more money to finish what the last one started. Now, they won't call it ST4. Not yet. They'll call it a supplemental measure, a completion package, whatever the consultants land on. But the structure is identical. A scaled-back plan in hand, a list of projects you already approved and paid for but won't actually get. And the pitch writes itself. If Ballard matters, if Alaska Junction matters, if the Tacoma Dome matters, if Everett matters, we just need a little more. Again. So, remember that long-range plan delayed to 2028? If I'm guessing, that's the timing. The $34.5 billion shortfall is the rationale, and the board's quiet confidence is that you'll say yes one more time. Well, two things about Sound Transit are always true. They've never been told no by voters, and they have never delivered a program on budget. Both of those things will be sitting in that room at 1:30 this afternoon. And if you think ST4 isn't coming, I've got a train to sell you. And that's the 7:35 commentary for Thursday, May 28th, 2026. Text your thoughts to the Muckleshoot Casino and Resort text line, 888-973-5476. You can join the chat on our YouTube Live at KIRO News Radio. Be sure to smash like and subscribe, or leave a comment at mynorthwest.com.
I've got a train to sell you. I see what you did there.
Huh?
740, what's coming up in traffic?
So we're going to take a look at this crash on southbound I-5 in Northgate, really causing problems. We'll break it down next.
Have something to say? We'd love to hear it. Text KIRO News Radio at 888-973-KIRO. That's 888-973-5476. Powered by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Pet owners and parents know the struggle. Every time dogs or kids go outside, they track mud right back in. If you're tired of scrubbing floors, you need Muddy Mat, the anti-mud mat that cleans paws and shoes before they ruin your home. Only Muddy Mat features thousands of ultra-soft microfibers that are 5 times more absorbent than ordinary mats, instantly trapping dirt and water to protect your floors. Put it by every door, under pet bowls, in the kitchen for spills. It even makes a perfect bath mat, and it's 100% machine washable, so cleanup is effortless.
Since getting Muddy Mat, I don't worry about what my dog gets into. His paws are clean the second he steps off.
No more mopping. I love it. Thank you, Muddy Mat.
Right now, get a free medium Muddy Mat with your order of 2 or more mats at buymuddymat.com. This offer is only available at buymuddymat.com. That's BUYMUDDYMAT.com. Don't wait. Get your free Muddy Mat today at buymuddymat.com.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-881-8686. That's 800-881-8686. 800-881-8686.
Black River Falls, Wisconsin. Kenneth, I got to find out more about this part of the story. I do. But instead of that, let's find out more about traffic on the threes with Chris Sullivan.
Probably shoved him in the locker when he was like 12. Maybe holds a grudge. Seems like a guy that might.
I don't know how all of this works, Sully.
Neither do I. I'm just a simple caveman. Your world confuses me.
Amanda isn't here, so I will tell you. Get to it.
Okay, we've got this crash on southbound I-5 right at the forced merge in Northgate, right at Northgate Way. HOV lane and left general purpose lane remain blocked. And because there are fewer people on I-5 these days because of the construction, this isn't backing up as bad as it could. But we still have about an hour and 20-minute trip from Everett to Seattle and about an hour of that just from Linwood. Now for the 405 corridor, we're up to an hour and 40 minutes. That's because of the normal stuff, but then we had a stall right before 85th that really backed us up getting into Kirkland. We're bumper to bumper now all the way through Totem Lake. So big-time delays there. The rest of the map, about what you'd expect. We're still struggling mightily on northbound 405 from about Tukwila through 167 and up to SR 900, where we still have this crash in the right lane. 45 minutes from the Renton area on up into Bellevue. The Maple Valley Highway is caught up in this. Westbound 169 backed up from the golf course. Northbound 167, about 30 minutes out of Auburn and 50 plus all the way. 45 to 50 from Olympia to Tacoma because of the slowing through DuPont. Remember, DuPont Gate closed for construction to JBLM. Better way to Seattle, getting closer to an hour. We have some braking at 320th and then really heavy past the north end of Boeing Field. The West Seattle Bridge is backed up all the way to the golf course today. The lake bridges are fine. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
We're looking for sunshine and warm temperatures, around 80 in Seattle today. Cool down, have rain and highs in the low 60s tomorrow. Upper 60s, low 70s for the weekend and dry. Right now, we're up to 60 downtown.
Coming up, KIRO News Radio's James Lynch with this week's Cold Case Project. It's no longer cold, actually. The suspect in a 2020 murder case is now in custody. He'll have details coming up on Seattle's Morning News.
We're here for Closets by Design. You having one of those mornings where you're already behind, your closet's a mess, your pantry, it's not organized, you can't even use your garage? Well, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just that most homes aren't set up the way we actually live. Not just closets at Closets by Design. It's garage where you can finally park your car, a pantry you can actually use. They do laundry rooms, home offices, wall beds, entertainment centers, mudrooms, everything. And it's all custom built in Kent, designed for your home and your routines. There's nothing off a shelf. Nothing is pre-made. When things are designed right, your day just goes smoother with less clutter and frustration. Everything finally has a place. Right now, for a limited time, you can get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Go to their website, closetsbydesign.com, or give them a call, 1-800-BY-DESIGN, and get your project started today.
Summer's supposed to be fun. When the kids are home all day, the groceries, they add up fast. G. Scott here with a quick heads up from Safeway. There's a program called Sunbucks that gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically and will get a card in the mail. Others need to apply. Take a minute to check. It could really help put food on the table for your family. Head to freesummermeals.org to find out more. That's freesummermeals.org.
Under these arches, opposing teams are put to the test. Can they hear themselves over the boom of the 12s? Can they withstand the Seattle elements? Can they compete against us? Touchdown! Seahawks! This city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Lumen Field and experience what this city lives for. Visit Seahawks.com today.
Around here, we see a lot of people head out. No matter where they're going, we just help make sure they're ready. Before you hit the road, get a pre-trip safety check from Les Schwab Tires. It's free. Plus, this May, save up to $200 on select sets of 4 tires, including all-terrain, highway, all-season, and all-weather. So go ahead. Explore with confidence. Les Schwab Tires. We're here to help you take the long way. Limited time offer while supplies last. See leschwab.com/sale for details.
Seattle's tradition for news and conversation. This is Seattle's Morning News with Charlie Harger and Manda Factor.
7:48 now. Time for the Cold Case Project. A murder suspect on the lam for 6 years is behind bars this morning.
His name is O'Shea Williams, 26 years old and accused of fatally shooting 21-year-old Jim Rout in 2020.
He was arrested last week and is the focus of this week's Cold Case Project, Captured. Here's KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
The shooting happened March 10th, 2020, near the corner of Rainier Avenue South and Southwest Victoria Street.
This was actually broad daylight. Victim sitting in his car, suspect passenger in a vehicle, drove past the car a few times. A suspect gets out of the car, walks up, fires a bunch of rounds in the car, and kills the victim dead with surveillance video and witnesses in the parking lot.
That's Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound Executive Director Jim Fuda. He says in spite of all the evidence, O'Shea Williams disappeared for more than 6 years. Investigators don't know if he was in Seattle the whole time or whether he left town and at some point returned. Megan Black with the Renton Police Department says none of that mattered to detectives who refused to let the case go.
One of our detectives who was instrumental in the initial investigation kind of started looking into this again recently, and he developed some information that O'Shea Williams was in the area in Renton. They devised a plan to go to the area where they knew that he was staying, and he happened to pop out of an apartment and they approached him. Williams attempted to flee officers, but they were able to quickly capture him and get him under arrest.
It is a partnership between law enforcement and community members working together to keep the community safe.
We're just really happy to finally get this person into custody and be able to deliver that news to the family who's been waiting, for 6 years to bring someone to justice, and now we get to begin that process.
In a lot of these cases, Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound offers a reward of up to $1,000 for information that leads to an arrest and charges. The thing is, most tipsters never claim the money.
Citizens are realizing that it takes a village to solve these crimes and get these bad people off the street. And it's heartwarming and reassuring to know that there are detectives out there that are willing to take that information and go after these bad guys.
And Fuda says getting the bad guys off the street makes the entire community safer. For the Cold Case Project, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
The Covington man in the viral video showing him throwing a rock at an endangered seal on Maui says he's not guilty of trying to hurt the animal. News Nation's Stephen Florino has more on Igor Litvinchuk's first court appearance.
Prosecutors say the 38-year-old from Seattle caught on video earlier this month throwing a rock at a monk seal in waters off Lahaina. Litvinchuk's attorney, Miles Briner, says his client did it to protect some nearby sea turtles that the seal was about to attack. The judge allowed Litvinchuk to be released on $25,000 bond. Judge Trader also ordered Litvinchuk not to go to any beaches while in Hawaii and not to approach any wildlife.
It was a packed courthouse for Litvinchuk's appearance, with locals saying this was more than an attack on endangered species and is another case of an entitled tourist thinking rules don't apply to them.
Protests at an ICE facility in New Jersey could have a major impact on international travelers coming into the United States. News Nation's Brooke Schaefer reports the Department of Homeland Security is threatening to pull Customs and Border Protection agents from airports in so-called sanctuary cities. This would include SeaTac Airport.
Without Customs and Border Protection agents to process travelers, international flights can't land there. So a lot of those flights ultimately would end up being canceled, a ripple effect across airports nationwide. A group which represents many of our major airlines, Airlines for America, said these plans would cause serious disruptions and a devastating effect on the airline and tourism industries. Keep in mind the World Cup, too, right around the corner. Millions of international travelers expected in the U.S. for that.
Among the cities potentially affected, we mentioned Seattle, New York, Newark, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Chicago, Denver, San Francisco. These airports collectively handled nearly 74 million international travelers last year.
From ABC News, Tech Trends. T-Mobile now says it is putting a translator into virtually every phone on its network. The wireless carrier has opened up the beta of its new AI-powered live translation service. Instead of having translation from one language to another done on your device, the translation is handled in the middle by the network, so it can work during any phone call. Only one person needs to be a T-Mobile user, and they can kick off the translation by dialing *87*. And Google says it wants to give you more of a glimpse into your own health. The search giant has rebranded its Fitbit app as Google Health and promises it can be your one-stop for all your health and wellness data. Google says the health app will be able to handle data from wearables, smart devices like connected scales, and even import medical records. And the company says a coaching feature will help you make sense of all the data. With Tech Trends, Chuck Siebertson, ABC News.
7:53 now. We head over to the traffic desk where we find Chris Sullivan.
And we're still working with multiple issues out there across the board. If you can avoid I-405 coming down from Linwood for the next little bit, you will save yourself some time. Not only do we have the normal stuff from Linwood down through Bothell, but we've also been working with a stall near 85th, and we might have something near 116th and Totem Lake. I haven't seen anything on the cams, but we are bumper to bumper that entire corridor. Hour and 40-minute trip to go from Everett to Bellevue, an hour and 20 of that alone just from Linwood. So that's 20 minutes slower than it should be. Now, I-5's no picnic either, because we have this crash in Northgate right before the forced merge. We have the HOV lane blocked and the left general purpose lane blocked, and we're backing up all the way towards the Edmonds exit. It's over an hour from Linwood to Seattle and an hour and 25 all the way from Everett. So it's behind schedule there by about 20 minutes as well. Northbound 405 struggling past this crash at Sunset, looking at backup that begins basically at Tukwila, goes all the way up to the scene. There's at least a 15-minute delay through that area. Overall, from Renton to Bellevue, which basically starts at 167, goes all the way up, is about a 50-minute trip. That's 15 minutes slower than it should be. We're also bumper to bumper from 212th and Kent because of that, going up the Valley Freeway. 35 minutes out of Auburn and an hour all the way from Puyallup. That is about a 15-minute delay. Looks like we also have a crash on westbound 410 coming down the hill out of Bonnie Lake right after the Winco. Might also have a crash on northbound I-5 and Fife now that just popped up. That's adding some time from Tacoma up to Federal Way, and then 50 minutes from Olympia to Tacoma. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
And our forecast, lots of sunshine for today. It's going to warm up to 79. Much different tomorrow. Showers, cooler, 60 degrees tomorrow. The weekend looks nice. Some morning clouds, afternoon sunshine both days. Right now it's 56 in Seattle.
Coming up, we head live to Longview for the latest on that chemical tank explosion. We'll have Corwin Hake live on the scene.
And Patrick DeHaan from Gas Buddy joins us to break down the latest on oil and gas prices. This is Seattle's Morning News.
Download the KIRO Newsradio app, where you can watch us live or stream us live anywhere, anytime.
How would this initiative, whatever this initiative is, how would he fund it?
Stay connected everywhere. Download the KIRO Newsradio app. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
My name is Skip, and Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland helped me with my Small Business Administration loan. With her help, I was able to keep my small business open, and she can help you too. Please contact Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland's office at 360-459-8514 or visit strickland.house.gov for help. Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Got any markdowns on oil?
We've got many markdowns on oil.
How about on that new STP Any Mileage?
You'll save $5 when you buy 5 quarts of STP Any Mileage with an oil filter and get up to 5,000 miles of protection.
Heck of a markdown for quite a lot of miles.
At AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know that hiking isn't for you. Sure, it sounds nice to be in nature while exercising, but that's what a gym and houseplants are for. I mean, you don't even like walking upstairs. So why would you walk up a hill for miles? To what, end up high in the air? Come on, you know you're scared of heights. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
If your idea of a perfect weekend includes a trailhead, a ferry ride, or a last-minute escape to the mountains, say hello to the Subaru Crosstrek. Carter Subaru is Seattle's only Subaru dealership with over 800 Subarus in stock. And right now, get the 2026 Crosstrek with 1.9% financing for 36 months on approved credit. Carter Subaru in Ballard, Shoreline, or online at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 5/31/26.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. Northwest News.
Lumen Field on Seahawks game days is your key to unlocking premium hospitality, views, and experiences. Host a memorable event in your own private game day suite. Or see an up-close, unique perspective from sideline and end zone field seats. To learn more about all the ways you can elevate your Seahawks game day at Lumen Field, visit Seahawks.com/premium.
Underestimating the trucking industry is one of the biggest mistakes I see victims and other lawyers make. Trucking companies have an army of lawyers and experts who act quickly after an accident to protect the company. Only an experienced trucking accident lawyer can navigate the complicated federal and state laws to protect your rights. If you or a loved one has been injured in a trucking accident, call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation or get my free book on trucking accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The Pentagon accuses Iran of ceasefire violations after Kuwait came under a missile attack. It's the latest flare-up of fighting threatening ongoing ceasefire negotiations. Inflation up in April, personal spending down.
The drop was not dramatic, about 0.1% from month to month. At the same time, personal spending rose by about $114 billion. The major driver of the increase, according to federal data, was the soaring cost of energy, specifically gasoline, which was up nearly 29%.
ABC's Jim Ryan. The Supreme Court has ruled in favor of a black death row inmate from Mississippi who claims there was racial bias in the makeup of the jury that convicted him for his role in the killing of a grocery store owner. There was only one black juror on the case. Overwhelming favorite Yannick Sinner is out of the French Open in the second round. His 30-match winning streak broken amid searing heat. France, one of several European countries battling an extreme heat wave. This is ABC News. One of the most well-known animals at the Bronx Zoo in New York is no more.
Happy, the Asian elephant, had been at the Bronx Zoo for nearly 50 years and became world famous in 2005 when researchers discovered she could recognize herself in a mirror, a rare sign of self-awareness seen only in a handful of species. But Happy's life also sparked debate. Animal rights groups fought in court to have her moved to a sanctuary, arguing that elephants don't belong in city zoos. New York's highest court ultimately ruled against that effort. The zoo says Happy was euthanized after her health sharply declined in recent weeks. She was 55. Dave Packer, ABC News, New York.
Brazil is set to join other Latin American countries as its lower house approves a constitutional amendment establishing a 40-hour, 5-day work week. Currently, Brazilians work 5 8-hour days, but then also work another 4 hours on a 6th day. This bill would end that 6-day work week and actually give people 2 days off. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It's 8:02. Here's what's happening. Crews in Longview are flushing chemical-tainted water through the city's ditch system after that deadly tank implosion at Nippon Dynawave paper mill. The Department of Ecology says water laced with white liquor is being diluted and released into the Columbia River. 2 workers are dead, 9 still missing.
A $21 million racial discrimination verdict against Seattle Children's Hospital stands. The Washington Court of Appeals unanimously upheld the jury's award to Dr. Benjamin Danielson, longtime medical director of the Odessa Brown Clinic.
And SeaTac international flights could be in jeopardy. Reuters reports the Trump administration is considering pulling customs officers from sanctuary city airports. Seattle is one of them.
It's 8:03, and that's time for a check on traffic. We do that every 10 minutes. Sully, what's up?
That's a really ugly drive out there. We've had a couple of different crashes and couple stalls and issues, and I'm going to start with the biggest one, which is on southbound I-5 as you approach Northgate. We've been working with the HOV lane and left general purpose lane being blocked right there at Northgate Way, right before the forced merge. Looking to see if they might be clearing it at the moment. The cameras are kind of shifting on me at the moment, but we do have an hour and 5-minute trip from Linwood to Seattle and an hour and 25 all the way from Everett. We've been working with not only the heavy stuff away from Linwood, but a crash in Totem Lake and then a stall in Kirkland. We're up to an hour and 40 from Everett to Bellevue. An hour and 20 of that is away from Linwood. So that's a 20-minute delay for you guys. Northbound 405 is just not moving through the Renton S-curves because of a crash we've been dealing with for a long time right there at SR 900. It's 50 minutes from Renton to Bellevue. The spillover onto the Valley Freeway is getting pretty ugly from 212th on up. We're almost up to 40 minutes from from Auburn on up, and that's an hour all the way from the Puyallup area. It's also going to be very difficult to get to 167 because of a crash down the hill from Winco towards Valley Ave on westbound 410. Not sure which lane it's in, but we're backed up all the way into Bonnie Lake. And the right lane is blocked of northbound I-5 around the corner in Fife. We've got about a 25-minute trip from Tacoma to Federal Way. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
8:04 on the Thursday, May 28th, 2026 edition of Seattle's Morning News. I'm Charlie Harger with Manda Factor.
Governor Bob Ferguson has deployed the Washington National Guard to help in the recovery of 9 workers still missing after the Longview chemical tank disaster.
That's where we find KIRO News Radio's Corwin Hake, who joins us live.
This is now day 3 of the emergency response. Ferguson is deploying National Guard members with specialized skills.
We have 8 members of Fatality Search and Rescue to assist with recovery.
And he says another 20 members of the National Guard Homeland Response Force are helping out with decontamination on site. Recovering the 9 workers still missing and presumed dead remains a challenge. Cowlitz 2 Fire and Rescue Chief Scott Goldstein admits their location remains uncertain, partly due to deep water at the blast site.
We do not know where all 9 are.
And they're still pumping out that water. We do now know the identities of 2 workers confirmed dead. Gilbert Bernal died at the scene of the tank rupture. His daughter tells ABC News he was a great man, husband, father, and grandfather. Dylan Miller passed away in the hospital from injuries sustained in the blast. He was a technician at Nippon Dynawave. Live in Longview, Corwin Hake, KIRO News Radio.
Thank you, Corwin. I'm Luke Ducey here in the KIRO News Radio studio. More now on that white liquor chemical that leaked. It is so corrosive. We are learning more and more details about it every day. It's used in the plant to break down wood chips into pulp and paperboard. A source close to the investigation now tells us when hazmat first responders got to that scene, that white liquor melted their protective equipment. Eventually, they could not reach those 9 missing workers. Even when they are recovered, those workers, Battalion Chief Matt Amos says,
as individuals are recovered from the site, they'll undergo decontamination before being transported to the Cowlitz County Coroner's Office for identification and family notification.
We also now know that some of the chemical has leaked into the Columbia River. Also, the city of Longview is flushing white liquor out of their ditch system in the city. If you're watching on our YouTube feed, I'm going to show you a map. A flow chart provided to us from the Department of Ecology kind of shows basically how this works. Some of that white liquor chemical got into the ditch system, which is supposed to do in circumstances like this and naturally as well. The flushing system takes water from the Cowlitz River, shoots it through the ditch system, which kind of winds in and around the city, where that white liquor is then diluted and then dumps eventually back into the Columbia River at the other end. According to the Seattle Times, Longview officials say that drinking water in the city is still safe. Charlie and Manda, that white liquor, strong. It's corrosive. I mean, there was talk about, and now we're hearing from Corwin, that a Homeland Response team is coming in because they have the tools and gear to deal with weapons of mass destruction, like nuclear weapons, WMDs. That's the level of gear that's ideal for dealing with this white liquor. A federal investigation is also underway.
Okay, keep us updated, Luke. It's 8:07.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
As Sully points out, it is 80s Day here on Seattle's Morning News.
Kind of is, yeah. That was one of the great music videos, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh, the best.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, think about it. When that first came out, of course, I was older than you, but still, it's just groundbreaking. It was like, what the heck is going on here? How are they doing this?
Drawings, it's got
drawings,
video.
and people are flying inside of drawings and coming out. What is happening here?
Sully was asking, what are these, humps or bumps of humps?
humps. I had no idea what was going on.
Did you have to bring that up again? All right.
You could have played some Fergie if you wanted to for our humps and bumps discussion.
I think that's going a little too far, all right? So
because it is a serious issue that we are talking about, but I mean, and humps, but let's not get bogged down in semantics on that.
It's Thursday. It's May 28th, Friday Eve, we like to call it. He's Charlie Harger. I'm Manda Factor.
Well, a busy hour in front of us. We are going to be speaking with Patrick DeHaan in just a few moments. He is the head of petroleum analysis at GasBuddy as we talk about what we can expect for gas prices this summer.
And G. Scott will stop by to weigh in on the latest estimate for how much you need to make in order to buy a home in Seattle.
Sound Transit Board is expected to vote this afternoon to commit to building what it promised voters in 2016. The vote could also determine which projects are considered doable under current financing plans and which are not. Sound Transit faces a $34 billion budget hole. The light rail link to Ballard is one of the projects that they say isn't feasible under current financing. Sound Transit says it's not doable by 2052. The budget for that 8-mile link has ballooned to $23 billion. Expanding light rail to Tacoma and to Painfield and Everett are considered doable right now.
Another big shakeup inside the Seattle mayor's office. The Seattle Times reports the policy advisor leading Mayor Katie Wilson's ambitious shelter expansion resigned yesterday. John Grant was in charge of the mayor's promise to add 4,000 new shelter beds. His departure comes after weeks of what the Times describes as a growing tension between the mayor's office and the city council. Council members have publicly complained about poor communication and a lack of specific plans. This is the second high-profile exit from Mayor Wilson's team in recent weeks. Wilson's chief of staff was replaced earlier this month.
Clash between the Seattle Police Union and the mayor's office over surveillance cameras. The Seattle Police Officers Guild says Mayor Wilson's staff threatened Union President Kent Liu with policy violations after SPOG posted video from a Capitol Hill shooting, calling on the mayor to keep the cameras active. Liu tells KIRO News Radio's Jake and Spike the threats were baseless.
We're just pointing out that these cameras work. We should have more of them, right? These cameras are an unbiased witness to the crimes occurring in Seattle.
Mayor's office later retracted its demand after SPOG's attorneys sent a cease and desist letter. Wilson has been facing pressure to turn on those cameras in the Stadium District ahead of the World Cup.
A federal judge is letting President Trump's executive order on mail voting move forward, at least for now. The Associated Press reports Judge Carl Nichols rejected a request from Democrats and civil rights groups who wanted the order blocked before this year's midterms. That order would create a federal list of eligible voters and direct the Postal Service to deliver mail ballots only to people on that list. The judge, a Trump appointee, said it's simply too early to step in because the order hasn't been put in place yet. This could mean big changes here in Washington, where every registered voter automatically gets a ballot in the mail. Washington's Attorney General is co-leading a lawsuit with more than 20 other states fighting that order.
SeaTac Airport could be caught up in a new Trump administration plan targeting sanctuary cities. Reuters reports Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullin says the administration is drawing up plans to stop processing international travelers and cargo at major airports in sanctuary cities. Of course, Seattle is on the Justice Department's list of those cities. Mullin told Fox News no decision has been made yet, but the idea is under active investigation and consideration. If it happens, it could effectively halt international flights at SeaTac, just as millions of foreign tourists head to the U.S. for next month's start of the World Cup. Airlines and the travel industry warn the move could be devastating for travelers and local economies.
After sweeping the Athletics, the Mariners hold a half-game lead in the AL West. The offense took off, including this bomb from J-Rod.
3-run home run. It's all Mariners now. 9-0 over the A's.
Final score 9-1. Mariners take the day off today before hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks for a 3-game series starting tomorrow.
At 8:12, let's get a check on the weather. Here's KIRO 7's Nick Allard.
Beautiful sunshine today, and then I expect to go for increasing clouds late in the day after getting into the upper 70s and low 80s. because that cloud cover is coming from thunderstorms east of the Cascades and in the mountains, and there could be a lot of them with some breezy weather windy east of the Cascades. Now, some of that rain will survive the journey and make it over us overnight tonight and into tomorrow when we're a little breezy ourselves. We're seeing rain in the morning, tapering off to showers in the afternoon. I don't really think we have that thunder threat west of the Cascades unless you get a random storm to make the journey. But otherwise, it should stay east, but they could be severe east and in the mountains. And then from 79 to 60. Morning clouds, afternoon sun this weekend, and the upper 60s, low 70s, and then 70s and 80s for next week.
Right now in Seattle, we've warmed up. It's 61.
At 8:13, time for a check on traffic once again. For that, here's Chris Sullivan.
And some positive news for you stuck in the backup coming down out of the Shoreline area, southbound I-5. All lanes have reopened past the scene of this earlier crash at Northgate Way. Was in the HOV lane and the left general purpose lane. So now you can merge over there freely. Still about an hour drive from Linwood to Seattle and an hour and 20 all the way from Everett. Everett to Bellevue, 20 minutes slower because of not only the normal stuff there away from Linwood, but we had a stall in Kirkland. We had also another issue in Totem Lake. Still an hour and 40 from Everett to Bellevue and an hour and 20 from Linwood. Northbound 405 just is not moving from basically Tukwila past the Family Fun Center up all the way to SR 900. We've been dealing with this crash for the better part of 90 minutes now, maybe even longer there by sunset. Right lane remains blocked 50 minutes from Renton into Bellevue, and overall there's probably a 20-minute total delay as you try to make your way from I-5 through the scene. Now, what's really happening here is that the Valley Freeway is caught up in this. 35 minutes out of Auburn and about an hour all the way now from Puyallup. Looks like we have cleared the right lane of northbound I-5 in Fife as you head up the hill there. We still have about a 25 to 28-minute trip from Tacoma to Federal Way, but getting better. There are 50 minutes from Olympia to Tacoma, still struggling through DuPont. The main gate there remains closed at DuPont. The DuPont gate remains closed for construction. Both of the lake bridges, though, are doing okay. This report brought to you by the Harnish Auto Family. The Harnish Auto Family Super Sale is on now through May 31st. Exclusive deals, 0 down and no payments all summer on approval of credit. In Puyallup and Everett, Harnish Auto Family, where people matter.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show. Seattle's morning news on KIRO Newsradio.
8:15 now. Gas prices remain at painful highs, especially here in the Seattle area. We will be talking about that in just a moment. First, though, Governor Ferguson appears to be acknowledging that Washington voters will get the final say on the state's new millionaire income tax. In a post on X, Ferguson writes, quote, "It looks like voters will get a say on whether to maintain the tax on income over $1 million. The group, Let's Go Washington, needs nearly 309,000 valid signatures by July 2nd to put it on the November ballot. They're well on their way. Initiative supporters say they already have gathered 92,000 signatures. Ferguson says he would veto any attempt by lawmakers to lower the $1 million income threshold on the new law.
Now we can talk about oil and gas prices. Renewed violence between the U.S. and Iran bringing oil prices climbing back up. This is the busy summer travel season gets underway.
Let's check in again with Patrick DeHaan, the head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy. This seems to be all over the map, Patrick. Maybe you can make a little sense of where things stand now with prices and where they might be headed.
Oh, we've seen a dip in most areas across the country. Seattle, no exception. Prices down only 3 cents a gallon, though, in Seattle, $5.95. We're back below the $6 a gallon mark. Hopefully, we've got some more room to decline. There have been some issues in the Pacific Northwest that have caused a little bit of a slower decline. But nationally, we're seeing the largest weekly dip in the national average of this year. A national average down about 16 cents a gallon. The market continues to be focused on the potential of a deal. Of course, we don't have a deal yet, but there's a lot of dialogue happening back and forth that is putting downward pressure on oil because it does seem like maybe now we have a good potential that these constant dialogues, the constant negotiation could lead to some reopening of the strait. Whether or not it happens, who knows? I have no crystal ball, but that is what the market is looking at as a lower level of risk as negotiations make it pretty clear that both sides are putting in more effort.
Patrick, we mentioned the busy summer travel season. We just wrapped up the Memorial Day travel. Do you have any data from Gas Buddy on how many people were traveling? I think the prediction was record numbers.
Well, that is what other entities said. Our travel numbers looked at the entire summer driving season, in which we found 56% of Americans were going to be traveling this summer. That was down from 69% last year. We will have data here in about 40 minutes. We did see data from the TSA indicate that air travel at least did decline this year. The first drop in Memorial Day number of travelers flying via air for the first time since 2020. So, there is an impact to high prices, and I do expect that when the EIA reports its weekly numbers here in about 40 minutes, that it will likely show a softer Memorial Day than what we've seen in recent years.
Man, Patrick, that is frustrating. Here, the national average is down, you said 16 cents. Yet it's only 3 cents here in the Seattle area. Any indication that, let's say the Strait opens tomorrow, that we'll see prices drop quickly?
Well, we'll continue to see prices dipping. Washington statewide, by the way, down about 5 cents. National average and prices in Seattle and Washington will likely to continue tiptoe lower. I would hope that in the next week or two that Seattle would start to catch back up in terms of pace of decline. But we've kind of seen continued refinery issues in various sections of the country. And Washington and Oregon right now, some of those lower level issues are slowing down the decline. But that could change here in the next week or two. And again, just highlighting the fragile environment here of what's happening between the U.S. and Iran, obviously new attacks. But for now, the price of oil is holding at lower levels, and that is what could bring relief in the days ahead until it doesn't. So, we should see the downward direction continue for maybe a week or two. Beyond that is a little bit harder to predict based on what's happening with the U.S. and Iran in those negotiations right now.
Patrick, I just had to book a flight to Boston, and it cost about double what I thought it would. Talk to me about airfare.
Yeah, airfares have been a little bit all over the map. The good news is the price of jet fuel has come down slightly, but you're probably not going to see airlines race to pass that along in fear of what I just mentioned, that if things go south with these negotiations, oil and jet fuel prices are going to go right back up. But, your refrain is something that millions of Americans are experiencing. I continue to watch the same airfare that I'm going to be jumping over the pond here later this summer, and that airfare is all over the map, from $7.50 to $12.50, back to $9.50, back to $7.50. It's wild. If you set a Google flight alert, you'll be able to watch those prices gyrate in real time. And remember, if you are booking an airfare, you may want to book something that is refundable to a trip credit. That way, if you do decide that there's a lower airfare, you may be able to refund your ticket to a trip credit and then rebook it at the lower rate.
Okay, so this all started on February 28th. It's May 28th now. Just zooming out for just a moment here, Patrick, how does this crisis compare to, let's say, the Ukraine crisis in 2022?
Well, every crisis is a little bit different. Back in 2022, it was less of a supply crisis, far less. Right now, we have about 15 to 18 million barrels of oil that aren't making it to the market. Russia's exports were probably only a third of that back in 2022. So much smaller impact on the supply side of the equation. But in 2022, you also had the demand side. The U.S. economy started reopening, or did reopen, in April of 2022 when the federal mask mandate was rescinded. And the huge jump in gasoline demand at the time also played a big role in gas prices skyrocketing to record levels. So this time around, there's not so much of an aggressive climb in demand. And that's the difference, is we don't have both of those ingredients this time around, but there's been a much larger impact to supply. And that could continue. That could worsen over time.
And, lastly, Patrick, I heard it bandied around, especially at the start of all of this. People were quoting Landman. I don't know if you watch the show, but there's that quote that you want to keep price of oil between $60 and $90 a barrel. When you heard that, when you saw that maybe on the show, does that ring true to you?
Well, 60 is probably a little bit low. At 60 is a little bit on the low side, where oil companies are probably not going to spend as much on maintaining output. So I'd say there's probably a really good balance between $70 to $80 a barrel. $90 is a great number for oil companies. It incentivizes them to continue increasing production. But yeah, there is that sweet spot there. Of course, we're now above it, but a lot of oil companies are approaching this looking at it as a temporary increase in the price of oil. Once the strait reopens, the price of oil will likely go down. So I don't think many oil companies are necessarily throwing their budgets saying, let's increase production, knowing that there could be, some improvement in the days and weeks ahead.
Patrick, please tell me your trip across the pond is a vacation.
It's a vacation. Well, hopefully it'll be a vacation. I guess it'll depend on if this is still going on in August.
All right, you deserve it. You've been working a lot.
All right, Patrick DeHaan, GasBuddy.com. Thank you for your time this morning, Patrick. It's 8:23. We need to head over to Sully at the traffic desk.
And we're trying to calm down, but it's just going to take a little while. The one active crash we have on the board has been with us for most of the morning. Northbound 405, as you make your way past SR 900, right lane remains blocked, and we are backed up all the way to Tukwila, and we're looking at about 50 minutes to go from Renton to Bellevue, and probably well over an hour to go from I-5 up into Bellevue. As you make your way through that corridor. Behind that, the Valley Freeway is really slow out of from about 212th on up, but it's getting better. We've actually picked up the pace there a little bit, up to about 30 minutes out of Auburn and a little over 50 all the way from Puyallup. So that's positive. Still have the brake lights through Lacey on northbound I-5 as you work your way through that corridor there, northbound 5 from Olympia to Tacoma's at 50 minutes. Then Federal Way to Seattle's about an hour with about 35 of those minutes from South Center. Those last couple of miles are going to be really heavy. West Seattle Bridge also caught up in this as well. Coming down from the north end, we've settled into that hour and 40-minute trip to go from Everett into Bellevue, hour and 20 just from Linwood. Not only the heavy stuff that we normally get, but we had a couple of problems, one in Kirkland, one in Totem Lake, that added some extra slowing into that corridor. So you really don't get off the brakes till you're down closer to 85th. For I-5, it's a little bit better. We've got about an hour drive from Linwood, an hour and 20 all the way from Everett. The Lake Bridges, though, are still doing okay. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
And our forecast, beautiful day, mostly sunny and warm, 79 today. Tomorrow, 60. Showers roll in, so much cooler, mostly cloudy. The weekend looks nice, though. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine, highs in the mid and upper 60s. Right now, it's 56 in Seattle.
Coming up, we head live to Longview for the latest on that tragic implosion at the plant in Longview. Corwin Hake is there and will join us at 8:30.
Also, Luke Ducey has an update on the frustrations in North Seattle over a number of shootings there.
And Sully, you have a chicken choke point.
Yeah, I talked to the Snohomish County traffic engineer about the impact of the new Raising Cane's moving into Linwood.
We'll break it down for you next on Seattle's Morning News.
Join the conversation and text your favorite show on the KIRO News Radio text line at 888-973-KIRO. That's 888-973-5476. Powered by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate, and there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466, 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You deserve a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Switch today. Get started for $60 a month for 12 months when you add an advanced solution to a qualifying internet package. Limited time offer. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and autopay with bank account required. Taxes and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
What would you do if the person you love needed round-the-clock care and you had no plan to pay for it?
I was very worried about running out of money.
When Mike's wife was diagnosed with dementia, he turned to LifePoint Law and Elder Law attorney Rajiv Nagayich.
And then he said, you're going to be okay, but we have to get through these steps. Then I felt a whole lot better going into it. It was still a very difficult process, but in the end, I knew that there was someone there that if I needed help, understood what I'm going through.
LifePoint Law helped Mike protect his wife, his finances, and his future.
They laid it out really well up front. They give you a very in-depth plan. There are so many things that you don't know. I could never have done it on my own.
Register for a free LifePoint Law retirement planning seminar in Tacoma on June 4th, Mukilteo on June 6th, Lacey on June 9th, or Bellevue on June 13th. 6:30 p.m. Space is limited. Sign up at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com.
Welcome to this week's Puget Sound Express Whale Report. Naturalists from Puget Sound Express report that it's officially humpback whale season in the Salish Sea. Humpbacks were absent from our waters for nearly 100 years due to whaling. In 1997, a female humpback returned, and in 2003, she brought a calf with her, which is when she earned the name Big Mama. She has kept returning along with 8 known calves, 7 grand calves, and 4 great grand calves, and she's back this year as well. Each summer, dozens of other humpbacks return. It's become known as the Humpback Comeback. Family-run Puget Sound Express offers daily guaranteed whale watching tours departing from Edmonds, Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Orcas, humpbacks, gray whales, minke whales, and so much more. Don't miss out on your chance to see whales in the wild. Family-run Puget Sound Express guarantees you'll see whales or your next trip is absolutely free. Book online at PugetSoundExpress.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from Eastlake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 8:30. Environmental contamination, especially in the Columbia River, is a major area of concern at the site of that chemical tank implosion in Longview.
And KIRO News Radio's Corwin Hake has the latest live from the scene. Corwin?
And Charlie and Manda, as recovery efforts continue for 9 workers missing in the Nippon Dynawave chemical tank blast, state officials are also assessing the environmental impact of this disaster, including an admission that some of the caustic white liquor spilled from the tank has now leached into the Columbia River. This is Brian Wood with Nippon Dynawave.
Our continuous monitoring for pH on our outfalls that go to the Columbia River showed spikes of high pH material at roughly the initial incident at 7:15 in the morning, and then approximately 2 or 3 hours later, there were 2 spikes of high pH material that went from our plant site to the Columbia River.
Now, hundreds of thousands of gallons blew out of that tank at the time of the rupture, and most of it's still not fully accounted for. Passages referred to as ditches commonly carry decontaminated water away from the plant to the Columbia River. That water is typically clean enough to provide fish habitat. In this case, though, state officials say a dozen carp have been found dead in those passages from elevated pH. Governor Bob Ferguson says both the State Ecology Department and the Environmental Protection Agency are helping assess the level of contamination, and all parties continue to stress air quality, and the city water system are safe to the public. Live in Longview, Corwin Hake, KIRO News Radio.
Now, the families of the two workers confirmed dead have identified those two men. Gilbert Bernal died at the scene of the tank rupture. Dylan Miller passed away yesterday from his injuries.
Seattle's Department of Transportation has been ordered to remove a series of barricades built by frustrated North Seattle neighbors trying to protect their streets from ongoing drive-by shootouts.
The move comes just days after bullets narrowly missed a 6-week-old baby sleeping in a crib. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with the latest.
Charlie, at least one bullet ripped through the wall of that home near Aurora Avenue North and North 98th Street. The father, Jake, told KIRO 7 TV.
Could have lost my 6-week-old beautiful baby boy.
And incidents like that are why a group of residents took matters into their own hands just last weekend. You can see in our YouTube feed, they built several metal planters in the middle of their streets in their neighborhood to block traffic from Aurora. Just block it altogether. Seattle police say, yes, there have been shootouts there between pimps in the past, which are part of an ongoing prostitution turf war. However, in the brand new statement we're talking about from Mayor Katie Wilson's office, they say, and they now call those barricades unacceptable. And they're removing them because they say you can't block the street from first responders or even trash trucks. Instead, the mayor's office says they're going to study the issue. And in the meantime, they'll install temporary traffic calming treatments, trying to reduce cut-through traffic. We don't know what those are because they didn't elaborate on what they might do. Again, they're studying the issue. The reaction, though, from one neighbor was, quote, what are they going to study? How many shootings happen per night with a speed bump? Well, the mayor's office says they're not going to install speed bumps, but again, we don't know what they're going to do. We will keep everyone posted.
Kind of notable that they can immediately remove these planters, but they can't immediately do anything about this just increased surge in violence.
And speaking of that, one neighbor also vowed to make those speed bumps, if they do that, gravel bumps.
Okay. Luke Ducey reporting live. Time to check traffic now every 10 minutes with Chris Sullivan.
I guess we enjoyed having lanes blocked so much on southbound I-5 at Northgate, we decided to do it again. Now we've got a stalled semi that is blocking the right lane of southbound 5 right there at the Northgate exit. And so we're starting to see the volumes build again. We'd started picking up the pace, but we're back up over an hour now from Linwood to Seattle in an hour and 25 all the way from Everett. So not a good drive, but it's better than 405. Everett to Bellevue's at an hour and 40. A 20-minute delay there, bumper to bumper all the way down through Totem Lake. We had an earlier crash there, also a stall in Kirkland that we just haven't recovered from. For those of you working the east side of that, looks like we do have a crash on southbound 9 right past the Brightwater plant getting down into Woodinville right there at where 9 meets 522. So plan on a little bit of a delay there. Northbound 405, I don't know why it's taking so long to clear this crash. We've been dealing with it for 2 hours right there at SR 900. It's Sunset. We are backed up all the way to basically Tukwila. Give yourself an extra 20 minutes to make that drive from Tukwila up into Renton. Renton to Bellevue, about 50 minutes. Behind that, significant spillover onto the Valley Freeway, but getting better in Auburn. So the travel time still remains about 50 minutes to go from Puyallup up into Renton. 18 over Tiger Mountain's about normal. Olympia to Tacoma's running behind schedule again. DuPont Gate to JBLM closed. This report brought to you by the Harnish Auto family. Super sale on now through May 31st. Exclusive deals, 0 down, new payments all summer on approval of credit. Puyallup and Everett, Harnish Auto family, where people matter.
The sun is shining. It's going to be a lovely day, warming up to 79 for today. Enjoy. Much different tomorrow as we'll see mostly cloudy skies, showers at times, and only a high of 60. For the weekend, clouds in the morning hours, but sunshine for the afternoon, highs in the mid and upper 60s. Right now it's 56 in Seattle.
I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
I heard chicken.
You know why?
Because they were clucking.
Yeah, it's a chicken choke point.
Of course it is.
Sully, we go to Linwood for this one?
Yes, we do. And this is one, it's now my beat, chicken choke points, because the new Raising Cane's is going in on 164th. It's taking over the old Wells Fargo Bank branch there just east of I-5 in Linwood, set to open on June 23rd. This will be Raising Cane's 4th location in Washington, and its furthest north. which is probably why we're going to see a lot of volume around this, because now anybody coming all the way down, that's the nearest one closest one you can get to. Now, I've never had Raising Cane's or the sauce that I've heard is so delicious, and our text line has confirmed. I am very concerned about the impact of this location and what it's going to have on traffic. If you don't live up there in this area, 164th is one of the busiest east-west corridors in Snohomish County. It provides direct access to Mill Creek, and it backs up terribly every day in both directions, even though there are 3 lanes in each direction and a center turn lane there. The restaurant is about 1,000 feet from the northbound I-5 off-ramp, using a right lane that is already a merging nightmare for people who are trying to get over to the right lane to get to Walmart, and then the right lane also becomes exit only about 500 feet east of the restaurant, where the road goes from 3 lanes in one direction down to 2. You add in left turn lanes and left turns, then you add Raising Cane's. This is going to be a chicken congestion choke point. So the concern is so great that Snohomish County Public Works wants to prevent left turns into the parking lot from 164th and from 13th Avenue, which runs along the west side of the restaurant, at least during the opening. This is to prevent those roads from backing up even more and just shutting this whole intersection down. County Engineer and Deputy Public Works Director Doug McCormick says his team will be monitoring all these turns closely.
I can see us potentially in the future, maybe if there's becomes a problem, having to limit that, where people will have to either go into one of the earlier driveways and then make their way over. Otherwise, they'll have to turn on 13th and then come around.
That could mean adding traffic control devices to prevent turns in the future. And I'm not talking bumps or humps. We're talking about medians or signs or things that actually physically prevent you from making a turn into this parking lot. We're not there yet. Now, of course, during the opening, you will not be able to get into Raising Cane's parking lot with a right turn. You'll only be able to get in with a right turn, from eastbound 164th or a right turn from 13th Avenue northbound. McCormick says there's also going to be traffic control out there.
That is part of our plan is talking with them to have off-duty police officers, but whether that be Snohomish County or whether it be whoever's in that pool that day that they can hire to help manage traffic for that grand opening.
McCormick says they're still working on all of the final plans, but he is pleased with the direction so far and that they are actually in talks with the owner of this Raising Cane's.
I'll be more comfortable when we talk to him more and make sure we have a good solid plan in place. But I'm glad that we're having conversations with them, and I know we'll have a good plan by the time they have their opening.
Now, unlike the new Chick-fil-A location, which opened just a little bit ago north of 128th, a little bit further north into Snohomish County, hasn't been too bad. This new Raising Cane's will likely have significant impact in the short term. So I am telling Mill Creek residents, all my neighbors, all the visitors who go up in that general area who use that corridor, you might want to go up one more exit to 128th, or exit one earlier, depending on which direction you're going, until this initial wave of nostalgia or whatever it is goes away. But this has the potential to be pretty significant based on the popularity of this and the fact that it's the only one north of Seattle. So we'll see how it goes. June 23rd is the tentative opening date.
Okay. Hey, maybe one day after work we just pop over to the U District location, check it out.
I might have to do that. Again, they do just tenders, right?
I think so.
I don't know. I've never been there, so we'll see. You can find out more at mynorthwest.com with all the video that we shot up there, and we'll see how it goes.
I just found a copycat recipe for the sauce.
Okay. Look at you.
Ketchup, mayonnaise, and some spices? I mean, again, I don't really know. I'm guessing.
Garlic, pepper.
Oh.
Worcestershire.
Interesting.
Yeah, just bit my tongue.
Worcestershire sauce. It's 8:41 here on Seattle's Morning News. Legal battle over public nudity and alleged lewd behavior at Seattle's Denny Blaine Park is now underway in court. Here's KIRO 7's Dee Dee Sun.
Opening statements started yesterday in the lawsuit filed by the neighborhood group Denny Blaine Park for All against the city of Seattle. The group argues the city's plan to clean up the park has failed, despite new rules and fencing installed last year.
This is not about nudity per se. It's about what happens in that park that's illegal. There is daily masturbation. There's people having sex.
But the city, along with friends of Denny Blaine, say their abatement plan is working and that the park's long history as a clothing optional space should be preserved. The trial is expected to continue through June.
Health officials have posted warning signs at Kirkland's Houghton Beach after high bacteria levels were found in the water. Swimming is off limits for people and pets for at least a week as the testing continues. The rest of the park is still open.
Covington man accused of attacking an endangered Hawaiian monk seal has appeared in federal court in Hawaii. Igor Litvinjuk is charged with violations of the Endangered Species Act and the Marine Mammal Protection Act. He pleaded not guilty, was released on $25,000 bond. Prosecutors say he threw a large rock at a seal's head in Maui. The incident was captured on video.
Why would you throw a rock at it? Hello?
He is now barred from beaches or approaching marine wildlife in Hawaii. If convicted, he could face up to a year in prison on each charge.
And the Washington Post reports this morning the Trump administration officials are trying to get the president on a new $250 bill. The bill would also feature the signature of the president. The woman in charge of the department that approves bill designs has now been reassigned from her post. It would be a departure from current policy, which says no living person can appear on U.S. currency.
And a major scheduling shakeup for Husky fans. The Apple Cup will be played on Sunday, not Saturday. Apple Cup set for 1 p.m. on September 6th, airing nationally on NBC. UW's next two games, Utah State and Eastern Washington, will air on the Big Ten Network.
I'm sorry, David, I didn't quite hear you. What?
I said that's trash. It should be played on Friday, Black Friday to be exact.
The Apple Cup. Yes, and later in the season, too, right?
It should be the last weekend of the year.
Because they're different conferences now. But all things considered, it should still be on Black Friday.
Yeah, this is what gets David worked up.
Yep.
We don't want to do
Someone's
that.
got to do it. All right, it's 8:43. Let's get to Chris Sullivan for an update on traffic.
Same with the Civil War. That should be played at the last game of the year.
Yeah.
Where you have the ability to ruin the other person's season or do something really. It's just meaningless now. Anyway, I digress. What isn't meaningless? All the help I get from my KIRO texters and my KIRO drivers who fill me in on so much. Adam, a Staples driver, you get gold stars all the time. You give me so much information. You're out there rolling around. Turns out it looks like this is more of an accident than it is a stall involving this semi on southbound I-5 right near the Northgate Way off-ramp. It looks like the right lane is still kind of blocked off and on depending on the what we have showing up there in terms of emergency vehicles. But it's one of the reasons why we're still rolling over an hour from Linwood to Seattle and over an hour and 20 from Everett into Seattle. Coming down the other side of the corridor, other side of the lake on 405, just ugly all the way down through Totem Lake. We had an earlier crash there. We also had a stall in Kirkland. It's an hour and 40 from Everett to Bellevue. That's a 20-minute delay, an hour and 20 of that alone. Just coming down from Linwood. Now to other spots in Snohomish County. Looks like we haven't cleared this crash on southbound 9 at Low Larimer Road. As you come down out of Snohomish proper, we're backed up all the way across the flats there, so plan on some delays there. Also, we had an earlier crash near 522 as you worked your way south of Maltby. The northbound I-5 drive, still about 50 minutes. Olympia to Tacoma, Federal Way to Seattle, still in an hour. Renton to Bellevue, it sounds like the right lane may have reopened in terms of the crash near SR 900 at Sunset in Renton, but it's bumper to bumper up through 44th. 50 minutes plus to go from Renton to Bellevue, and still over 35 from Auburn to get up the Valley Freeway. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Forecast looks nice and warm today, pushing 80 in Seattle. Tomorrow we hit a high of 60 with showers. It'll be stormy east of the mountains. On Saturday, we start to bounce back. Morning clouds, afternoon sun, 64 a high, 68 the high on Sunday with plenty of sun. Right now in Seattle, it's sunny and 63.
So how much money do you need to make per year in order to own a home in Seattle? Spoiler alert, it's a lot. G. Scott has thoughts, and we'll get to that next here on Seattle's Morning News.
It is summertime, which means sunshine, baseball games, beach trips, hiking, fun with the family. And Brad, I'll bet it's easier to pay for with free checking from WaFd Bank.
That's right, Dave. Set your financial goals and stick to them with free checking. No minimum balances or monthly maintenance fees to worry about. Hey, you'll also get spending tools to help you stay on top of your budget. Not only is WaFd Bank rated the best bank, we have more than 200 branches to serve you across 9 western states.
And tell me more about this card control feature I've heard so much about.
Dave, you can view transactions for individual cards, set controls and alerts, and if you forget your card at the restaurant, you can instantly turn it off while you go back to get it. You'll also have access to free tools like Zelle, mobile check deposit, and when those unfortunate times happen, submit fraud disputes right inside the WaFd mobile app.
And don't forget, you can choose from some great-looking debit cards, including Seattle Kraken and Seattle Seawolves cards. So visit wafdbank.com and open your account today. Non-sufficient funds charges may apply. Member FDIC.
Guys, it's Men's Health Month at Revive Seattle. Get a free comprehensive wellness panel. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Valued at $400. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Healthcare costs are rising, and a major driver is hospital prices. They've increased more than 250% over the past 25 years. Families and local businesses are feeling it. At Primera Blue Cross, we're working to change that by negotiating with hospitals to secure fair, responsible prices so you can get the care you need at a cost you can afford. That's coverage that counts. Learn more at coveragethatcounts.primera.com.
Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
Well, here he is from the G and Ursula show, 9 to noon here on KIRO News Radio. Beautiful day to do a show, too.
Oh,
G's got us here. Good morning, G.
Good morning. Before I go, I just want to say, Manda, every single morning,
Yes.
you're how I get the weather.
I'm here for you.
It's just the rhythm and how you do it. Like, today you talked about.
Sunny and 79 today.
Man, you did that. And then you said, but tomorrow is going to be 20 degrees.
Yes.
You said that one, so I knew it was going to be 60. All right, anyway. New Redfin number dropped. Redfin. Y'all know Redfin and them.
I can't believe this number.
New Redfin number dropped. Yes, you can. To afford a typical home in Seattle, you need to pull in, to be exact, $219,000 a year. All right? But get this. That's actually good news. Yeah, because affordability actually has improved in this area. These dang on Democrats. So, $219,000 to buy a house here, and this is before you can blame any other tax, CCA, or anything out there. This all comes down to simple thing. It comes down to supply and demand, obviously, and it comes down to prices. Biggest thing it comes down to is interest rates. We all know that's a real deal. So more and more, be honest with you, it is getting harder to buy a home in Seattle. However, what's happening is right now is affordability has actually gotten better here in this town. I also wanted to bring up one of the things, too, if you live in the Seattle area and you're familiar with here and you've been here for a while, maybe some decades, the vast majority of Seattle residential land is, you all know, is locked up into single-family dwellings, right? 80% of real estate in Seattle is single-family. So we got the water right here to fight with, all that. So you only got so much land here in the Seattle area, and 80% of it is locked up into single family. So what ends up happening is you have people, a lot of people, they have to go and fight for the 20% where the apartments are, duplexes, triplexes, and of course, the rents can go up. So what I'm saying is from here on out, hopefully there'll be some relief at some point. I don't know if wages are going to catch up to where you're making $219,000 a year to buy a home. Years ago, 30, 40 years ago, you could probably just have one income and Mima can stay home and Papa can go out and work, and they raised a whole family, had a car, and were able to buy a house. And so some of those houses that maybe they bought for $20,000, $30,000, some of those homes are worth $1 million today.
And they retired at age 60 or 55. Right?
Yes, they did. They did.
I mean, what does that say? I could never afford a home in Seattle. That is just way out of the realm of possibility for me. So even though I grew up in Edmonds, my grandparents were in Wedgwood in Seattle, there's absolutely not a chance I could have moved to Seattle once I was an adult. I went to South King County. Now I'm in Pierce County. But even there, it's impossible to afford it. There's no way I was making anywhere close to six figures, when I first bought my first house, like, what was that? Almost 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
What are young people supposed to do? What are they supposed to do, man?
You want me to tell you what they've been suggesting? or you want me to say? I'll tell you some things they've been suggesting. Stop buying coffee every day. Avocado
this is
toast.
So far beyond that.
Save your money. Yeah. You got to eat on $75 a week.
Yeah. It is.
I agree.
An impossible task, and. I've been working on this commentary, and I haven't been able to get it together yet. But we are what's a K-shaped economy, right? The rich are getting richer, but those who are making less are making less. And what's so frustrating is the people on the top of that K-shape, they have no idea what's going on the bottom of the K-shape.
Okay. Write this down, David. Write today down. This might be one of my favorite visits to SMN.
Whoa.
Yeah, Charlie, thank you for that. Thank you for saying that. Appreciate that one.
It's true.
It is true,
yeah.
Right? There's a lot of folks that are doing well. And by the way, the stock markets and all that stuff like that is doing fantastic.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's about timing. Like if what you're doing right now, if you can't afford a home, you probably could be doing the same thing and this be 25 years ago, and you'd be in a home, probably about to get ready to buy your second home. You'd be taking vacations 4 or 5 times a year. Sometimes it's all about timing, right? So, yeah. Good stuff, Charlie. Appreciate that one. You got to get a commentary on that one.
Right. Also, I'm working on it.
Ed in Bremerton makes a good point. What job does pay $219,000 in Seattle? Outside of tech.
I was just going to say anything.
Outside of tech.
All right. Do you want me to keep him around?
Oh, yeah. Come on. If I get praise, I love it.
Let's go.
You may be asking.
Yeah. Man.
Thanks, G.
Let's check in with Sully with traffic.
Or you could just do what Ryan in the 360 does from our text line. Come out and join us in Mason and Grays Harbor, where you can afford to buy a house. I mean, I do drive 130 miles round trip to work. LOL. Damn, 130 a day.
Yikes.
Wow.
This gas is cheap, right?
I know there are a bunch of warriors that do that. That listen to the station all the day. They're with us at 5. They're, God bless those guys. Looking at the drive now, we still have a lot of work to do out in the north end. Hour and 40 Everett to Bellevue. Hour and 20 from Everett to Seattle. Still have the right lane blocked as you get down into Northgate. 45 minutes from South Center to downtown. It is bumper to bumper. The West Seattle Bridge is just jammed up. It's an hour and 5 all the way from Federal Way. Valley Freeway still struggling up at the north end. Rented to Bellevue trying to get better now that we've cleared the crash at Sunset. Lake Bridges are hanging in there. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Our forecast, sunny and 79 today. Showers and 60 tomorrow. Right now it's 56 in Seattle.
Coming up, the Seahawks could have a new owner by August. G and Ursula have the details coming up. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle. Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Your medication for enlarged prostate is working. That's what you tell yourself. You're up 3 times a night instead of 5. The urgency is manageable. The stream's not great, but it's fine. That's the problem. Fine. Enlarged prostate, or BPH, doesn't pause because the medication takes the edge off. The prostate keeps growing. The bladder keeps working harder. And over time, those changes can be harder to reverse. But surgery? Not for you, right? Aquablation is not the surgery you're picturing. It's the only ultrasound-guided, robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Don't wait until things become unbearable. Find an Aquablation urologist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466. 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
When Dennis suggested retirement planning to his wife Linda, she had the same reaction lots of people do.
Do we really need it?
Then they attended a free seminar with elder law attorney Rajiv Nagayich at Life Point Law.
He asked me, what do you want? And he truly listened. And at the end of it, it was like, we need to do this.
There are many people on the radio that speak about many things. And when we got here and actually worked with the team that Rajiv has put together, it turns out that it is not just talk, it is action.
And in the worst case?
I said to him, if something happens to Dennis, what would I do exactly? And he said, you pick up the phone and you call Rajiv or you call me. And that right there was like peace of mind.
Register for a free Life Point Law retirement planning seminar in Tacoma on June 4th, Mukilteo June 6th, Lacey June 9th, or Bellevue June 13th, 6:30 p.m. Spaces limited. Sign up at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com.
At the Boy Scouts of America, our oath remains: a Scout pledges to be kind, helpful, and brave. We're committed to providing a safe and welcoming environment where Scouts can establish the foundations of character that will last a lifetime. Our approach ensures the Boy Scouts of America is building the youth of today into the leaders we'll turn to tomorrow. The Boy Scouts of America. Building character is in our nature. Visit scouting.org to learn more about Scouting.
We are all about your experience.